This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So now if I go to any of the repository, this is from the GitHub side, correct? So when you want to create a new branch, simply are going to select the branches section, right? As I said, you have to choose the source, right? On which branch you are going to take to create a replica, nothing but the new branch, right? So now on top of the develop, if I want to create a new branch, I should be selected the develop branch. If I want to create a replica for the master, then select the master branch. Now the master is becoming the source for the new branch. Then give the name. Suppose I would like to create a backup branch for the master. So now master backup. Right now you can see here the master backup is creating from the master branch. This is how we are going to create a new branches on the GitHub side. So if I want to create a branch on my local as a developer, we are not going to give a authentication to create a branch on the GitHub side for the developers. No authorization we are going to provide. So basically what they will do, they will clone the entire repository into their local machines. On the local machine, they will create a new branches. We are going to call as a future branches. On the branches, they will start working on the requirement. What are the requirement they will got on the sprint basis, correct? So now they want to create a branch on the local. Simply what they will do. So the command which we are going to run is git branch name, correct? So this is how we are going to create the branches on the local and as well as on the GitHub side. So now here I will go to no git is not installed here, so I'm going to install the git. Now git clone. I will take the path of the repository. Then I'm going to paste it here. Right, so now we can see the repository here. Now the DevOps repo. Now git branch. Now I'm on the develop branch. Right. Usually we are going to see the master branch, but as a default. But here I'm going to see the develop branch because I changed it from the master to develop as a default. We can observe here. Now we know, right, how to change the branches. Right. So we are going to go to the settings, protection rules. Right. Go to the settings there. We can change the branch name. We can apply the reviewers. We can add the right approvers like that on the branches section. We have covered this concept also, right? Develop is the default one. That is the reason when I want to create on the code into my local, I can say develop as a default. Now create a replica for the develop. Right, so now here git branch, then the branch name, develop -backup, git branch. We can see the new branch is created. So this is how we are going to create a branch on our workstation from the local. This is also covered. Now when the branch is created, on the branch the changes are applied, means the requirement is completed on the branch, then the next step will be merging your branch to your first environment, nothing but the develop branch. Merge the future branch to develop branches, right? So now merging a branch on the local will be simply a merge command, right? So git merge and the branch name, so that we can merge one branch to another branch on your local machine by using the git merge command, right? So further the requirement will be, further first you should be on the source, right? So now sorry, you should be on the destination, then you need to choose the source so that the source will be merged to the destination branch. Suppose I want to merge this develop backup to develop branch. Now my source is develop backup and my destination is develop, right? So first you should be on the destination, right? You can see the star, right? I am on the destination, right? Now if I want to do vice versa, right? Now I want to merge my develop code to develop backup. develop code has to be merged to develop backup. Means first you should be on the destination. So right. So now for that, what I will do, git checkout, then develop backup, enter. So now git branch. Now I am on the destination. Now merge the source. So to merge the source, git merge, and the source branch name is develop. This is how we are going to merge one branch to another branch on your local side, on your local machine. But when it comes to the GitHub side, that's what the practice in our real time. So right now we are going to merge your branch, your future branch to the develop branch through the GitHub. So for that, what we'll do, we are going to create the pull requests, PRs. Right. So now GitHub side merging is the PR, local side merging is the git merge command. That's what we need to understand. We need to remember. Right. So now what I will do, when I want to merge one branch to another branch on the GitHub side, I am going to create a PR. Pull request I am going to create. Right. So now I will go to the repository. Right. Now here you can see there is an option called pull request. Click on the pull request. Then we can choose source and destination. Right. So now when I went to the pull request, it's going to ask you if you want to create a new pull request. Yes, create a new pull request. And then you can choose the destination and your source. So I would like to merge the code to the master, and my source will be future one, something like that. Right. So now this is also we have covered, right? So now merging a branch, nothing but with the help of PR, we can merge one branch to another branch by creating a new pull request. Right. So if I create a pull request here, a PR will be created. There we have seen assigning, right, reviewers and giving an access to the approvers so that they can merge the code, merge the branch with the help of this PR. Right? That is also covered. So now in the branches side, the next option will be handling the conflicts, merge conflicts. Right? So now usually we are going to see when there is a branch, a future branch, which was developed by the developers. So now they want to merge their code into the GitHub repository, one of the branch called first level of branch called development branch. Right. So now by that time, if someone is pushed the code, that code will not be available in the future branch who is going to push, then obviously we are going to see the conflict. Right. If we try to see with the example, so now if I take this is my repository. Inside the repository, now I have a branch. Suppose master. So now in the master branch, as of now, only one file is there. That file name is sample.txt. So now this is my repository. In the repository right now, I have a branch called master branch. Under the master branch, I have a file called sample.txt file. So now there are two developers are there. So developer 1 and developer 2. Right, so now these guys got a requirement to work with the DevOps repository. Developer 1 and developer 2. So now what they will do, if they have the repository on their machines, they will pull the code to get the latest. If they don't have the repository on their machines, simply they will clone the code. Now we know cloning and pulling and fetching, right? So now they will clone the code first time so that they can have the DevOps repository. Under the DevOps repository, they can have the master branch. Under that, they can have the sample.txt. Right? So same here also. On his machine DevOps repo, under that they have the master branch, under that sample.txt. So now the both are cloned the DevOps repo. So now from the GitHub to their local, they got the code into their local. So now they will start working on the changes. Right. So now this guy is trying to add a file here. One more file. Backup.sh. Right. Now this guy trying to add one more file here. Jenkins logs dot python something. Right. So now this master, like this GitHub is having only one branch master as of now, and it's having only one file called sample.txt. Now the developer one cloned the code and developer two cloned the code. Now the developer added a new file called backup.sh, and the developer two added a new file called Jenkins log.python file. Right. So now here, this guy pushed back the code to the GitHub. So now what will happen on the GitHub? We are going to see a one more file called Jenkins logs.py. Right. When the moment he pushed the code to GitHub, this new file will be added to the GitHub master branch. Now this guy wants to push his code. Now when the guy wants to push the code, then here he is going to see the conflict. Not going to other, because right, master is matching with the master, sample.txt file is matching with the same sample.txt file, but here in his changes he is not having the Jenkins log file. The backup.sh file is not having on the DevOps side, nothing on the GitHub side. Right, there is a change here which is not present on the developer one. There is a change here which is not present on the GitHub side. So now the GitHub won't understand which one has to be taken. This one has to be taken, or this one has to be pushed there, because both are not in sync. Both are not in sync. When the sync is not found, then immediately it is going to reflect. Sorry, I meant to say reject. Your GitHub is going to reject. That is what we are going to call as a conflicts, merge conflicts. Right. So now usually, always when you are trying to do any changes, always you should be sync with the GitHub repository. Your code has to be synced with the GitHub repository, then perform the changes, then push back. That's what the best practice always we need to do. Otherwise, this kind of conflicts we are going to see. Right. Suppose forget about this one. Now again the developer two is modified this Jenkins.log file by adding 2 lines. Now 2 lines are added here. When he is trying to push the code back to GitHub, it will accept because already the file is available and there are the 2 changes came into the file. Yes, accept it. But here it cannot, because this file is not present here and this file is not present here. So which one has to be taken? So there the conflicts we are going to see. So usually most of the time we are going to face this kind of conflicts when we are trying to merge one branch to another branch. So now how to resolve these conflicts? Right. So the best practice always will be take the code into your local again. Right. Whatever the GitHub is having the latest code, take it to local again. So the same code. Right. So now here DevOps repo master and sample.txt, then the new file Jenkins logs.py. Right. Take the latest code. Now merge this code into your local. So local to local, we have to handle this conflicts. The best practice always will be. Then you can see that I will show you how to resolve these conflicts. Now the best practice always will be, when you are seeing the issues, then take the latest code of the GitHub into your local again. Then merge the latest with your branch. Then fix the issues. Then push it back. This is the best practice we are going to do in our real time. Right. So now we know, right, how the conflicts are going to happen. Right, in what cases? Now how to resolve these conflicts. Once we got the conflict, how to resolve these conflicts. The conflicts can be resolved in multiple ways. One is from the local, from the workstation side. Second one is we can resolve the conflict from the GitHub side. Third one is by using IDEs, development environments. Then the fourth one is merge conflict tools. With the help of the tools, we can resolve the conflicts. Right? In four ways, we can resolve the conflicts. One is manual, the second one is GitHub side, and the third one is through the IDEs, and the fourth one is by using the tools. Okay, so let's see one by one. So now here I will take so I will DevOps repo is cloned it already in my mission. So I'm going to pull the code from the GitHub so that I want to make sure both are in sync. Right. So now here, if it is a default branch, git branch, if you are on the default branch, the git pull command is enough, default to default. If the branch is right, so now your cursor is not at the default branch, it is in some other branch, then the command will be git pull remote and the branch name. So remote, right? So now you need to tell I'm not going to pull the default to default, I want to pull the other branch. So there, this command has to be given. Remote in a remote the origin. Right. So now git checkout develop. Right. This is my own branch. So this branch is not exist on the GitHub side. I did not push it back. That is the reason I switch it to the default branch. Now git pull. We can see already up to date. Right. So now my local as well as my GitHub both are in sync. So now start performing the changes. So what I will do, I will modify some of one of the file vi login.java. This is greeting. Some comment I have added. Save it. Right. Now I modified the login.java file by adding one line. Right. So now git the process, right? Git status. Now you can see login.java is modified. It is not in the untracked state. Now we know to make it as a tracked, git add, then git status. It is going to ask you to save it. Right. Commit. Now git commit -m login changes. Git status. Working tree is clean. Now you can push the code. Right now, at this moment, if I push the code, it will accept because both are in sync. This is a new change. Your GitHub will be accepted. But I don't want to be see like that. I want to see the conflicts. Now, if you want to see the conflicts on the GitHub side, try to add some other content so that both will not be in sync. Then obviously you are going to see the conflict. Right. So now here, what I will do, I will go to the DevOps repository. This is nothing but some other person pushing their changes before your code is being pushed to GitHub side. So now here I am going to suppose, let me take this example, this file only, login.java. Any file, it's not like only the login file. So for better understanding, I have taken that file. So now here I'm modifying the file here directly. This change from GitHub. For better understanding, I have given something like that. So now save it on the dollar branch. So now GitHub is having some extra change, nothing but this change from the GitHub, a new line, which is not exist on my local cat login.java. Right, I have some other line, this is greeting, and here I have some other line, this change from GitHub. So now when I'm trying to merge the code into the GitHub, then obviously you are going to see the conflict. Right? Both are not in sync. Let's see. So now here git push. So this is HTTPS mode. That is the reason it is asking the username and password. If I use SSH, it won't ask, right? So this is right. So now here rejected. Right. So now here it is not allowing me to push the code because the conflict. Right. So here updates are there because the remote content work that you do not have the locally. Right. So here now let me see the issue. It's not the git conflict. It is not allowing me to push it. My remote contains the work that you do not have local. This is usually caused by another repository pushing the same reference. So here let me go and see whether these changes are saved or not. Yes. Fine. So now here, right, so it is not allowing me because the changes are at some other reference is pushing me. Here the change is found here. Then here the change is not exist, the new change. So this change is not present on the GitHub side, and this change is not present on the local side. So that is the reason it is not allowing me to push. Right? Because I am trying to push the change of the same branch, develop to develop. So now from my develop to, I'm trying to push the code to develop. So that is the reason is not allowing me here. So usually we are going to do the practice will be directly not the develop to develop. We are going to create our future branches. Then the future branch is trying to merge. By that time, we are going to see the conflicts. So here the direct branch to branch, that is the reason it is not allowing me on the GitHub side. So let me change this use case by creating a branch so that we will see the conflict instead of pushing the same branch to the remote side, right? So better. So I will not go to the GitHub side right away. So first let's try to see on the local, then we'll go to the remote side. Okay, so that we'll have some kind of understanding. Then we'll see on the GitHub side. So I will stop this practice here. So let me see the first use case in the local. How to handle the GitHub conflicts on the local on nothing but on our workstation. Then we'll go to the GitHub side. Okay, so right, let me take this one. So clear the screen. CD DevOps repo, Git branch. Now I'm on the dollar branch, right? So on the dollar branch, Git status, working tree is clean. Now everything is fine on the dollar branch. So now I'm trying to create a new branch on top of the dollar branch. So now Git branch. So I'm going to give the name as future one. So a new branch is created with the name future one. This is nothing but the replica of dollar branch. So if both are sync or not, how we are going to confirm on the local git diff, I can check the difference. Develop against my new branch. If I don't see anything means both are in sync. Just now I created it. So now what I will do, I will try to modify a file, or I will try to add a file in the branch called develop. So now here, let me take the one other file called daily backup. So now here I'm going to add some content. So some content I have added here. Now git status. So now here the next step will be adding the files and saving the files. So instead of running two commands, git add, git commit, there is a shortcut. Straight away you can run two commands with a single shot. So now for that, git commit -am, then some message, daily backup file changes. Right. So this is a shortcut. Nothing but you don't require to run git add dot then followed by git commit -m message. You directly can run the single command. Git commit -a means adding, m means message. Commit command, right? Like that. Shortcut. If you remember, you can use it. Otherwise, simply follow our old process, adding and committing. Then git status. Now my work tree is clean. Right. So on the branch called develop branch, right? I have done some changes. So now I'll switch to my future branch. To switch the branch, git checkout is the command. Git checkout and the new branch future one. So now I switch it to the new branch just for confirmation. Git branch, I can say future one. Right. So now let's go to the file. Right. For better understanding, I'm going to take the same file again. Vi daily backup.sh. So now here I'm going to add a new line. This changes are from future one branch. New change, some other change I have done on the file called daily backup.sh. So now git status, same process. Now git commit -am, right? So daily backup file changes. Now git status. Work tree is clean. Right. So now on the both branches, nothing but my develop branch and as well as future one branch, I have done some changes on the same file called daily backup.sh file. Now I will try to merge my future branch to develop branch completely on the local, no connection with the remote, nothing but the GitHub side. It is completely working on the local side, right? So now let's try to merge the branch. So now if you want to merge the branch, the rule will be you have to be on the destination branch and use the merge command and give the source branch, right? So I would like to merge my future one branch to my develop branch. Now develop is the destination. So now git branch, right now I'm in the future branch source. Now I have to switch to the destination branch. So git checkout develop. So now git branch, I switch it to destination. Now try to merge the source. To merge the source, git merge and the branch name future one, right? Enter. Now both are not in sync, so that is the reason we are going to see the conflict. So this is where we are going to see conflict. So these conflicts we are going to call as a merge conflicts, right? So on which file? The file name is daily backup.sh file, right? So now we have to resolve these conflicts. The first method, manual, by using manual process, resolve the conflicts, right? So now here I know on which file the conflicts are happening, daily backup.sh file, right? So in the repository you can have multiple files, like 100 files we are going to see. Now whatever the file it is showing here is, let's go to that file. So now this is my file name. So cat Just I'm trying to open the file. Now here you can see the symbols head, and here you can see future one, right? So now here the first part is nothing but your destination branch changes, right? Nothing but my destination is develop branch. So now here the first part is going to show you the destination branch changes. So now this is develop branch changes. Now the second part is going to show you the source branch changes, my future one. So now we need to decide which code has to be taken, or both the changes has to be taken, right? So now based on the requirement and based on your discussions, now the people are going to decide either they have to take the destination branch changes, or they have to take the source, or they have to take the both. That is up to the requirement thing. Then what they will do, so to resolve the conflicts manually, what we are going to do here is simply we'll open the file in the edit mode. So right, vi is the editor. With the help of the editor, we can modify whatever we want on the file base, right? So now here I am going to modify the file called daily backup.sh file, where the conflicts are happened. Open the file. So now the first block will be the destination branch changes, and the second block will be the source branch. So now which one has to be taken, either this one or both? Suppose I want to have both the changes, okay? That because this is the developer one changes and this is the developer two, like my changes, I require the developer one changes also, okay? So right, so by that time what we will do, simply we are going to remove the special characters, these things, delete it, and delete this hyphen equal to, delete it, and delete the future one also. So manually we are resolving the conflicts by adding the lines or by deleting the lines, something like that. So this is the manual process, right? So now save this file. Once the conflict resolution is done, save the changes. Now try to see the status, git status, right? We have done some changes on the file, right? So now it is going to ask you to save the changes, right? The same process again, git commit -am, then the message merge conflicts, some message. Now see the working tree is clean, right? So now here I have done the changes, I have modified it. So right now let's try to merge it again, just see whether the conflicts are resolved or not. Now see, already up to date, right? So now here this is the best practice always we are going to do when you are going to face the conflicts. So the best practice always will be take the latest code. Now you can treat this is the latest code from the GitHub side, and this is the target branch which I want to merge it. So now we'll try to merge on the locally. There we'll see the conflicts, then we'll resolve the conflicts, then finally we'll push back this branch to your GitHub side. Anyway, the process will again we'll see. Now the resolution, conflict resolution, like the first method will be like try to merge on your local machine one branch and another branch. There you'll see the conflict, then resolve something like this. Right. So now this is the way of manually resolving the conflicts. Then the second way. The same again. When you are going to face the conflicts, the second way of resolving the conflicts will be the from the GitHub side. You don't require to take the code into local, nothing but on your workstation, resolve it and push back to GitHub. Straight away, we can perform the changes, nothing but resolution of the conflicts on the GitHub side only. We can perform these things on the GitHub side. Right. Let's see. So now here I have done some changes which are not present on the GitHub side because right I have done some conflict resolution and something, right? So now what I will do, simply I am going to remove the repository, then I am going to clone it fresh. so that my GitHub as well as my local will be in sync. Clone, copy. Now ls. Now go to the DevOps repo. Git branch. I'm in the develop. Right. So now I have cloned the code firstly because I have done many changes which are not present on the GitHub side. So now if I try to push the code, we'll see many conflict issues. Right. Anyway, we are discussing about the conflicts. That is the reason I have deleted completely. Then I have taken the code freshly from the GitHub side. Right. So now both my local as well as the GitHub are in sync because just now I have cloned it into my local. So now let's try to see the second case, second way of resolving the conflicts by using the GitHub. Right. So now what I am going to do here is I am going to create my new branch. On the new branch, I will perform some changes. Then I will push the branch to GitHub side. Okay. Right. So now here, git checkout -b. Right. We know the shortcut. Right. This shortcut is nothing but it will create a branch and it will switch to the branch. You don't require to run two commands, git branch, git checkout. Simply I can use the shortcut. Right now I'm going to create the branch and I'm going to switch the branch. Right. So now my new branch will be sprint 10. So now git branch. Now I'm in the sprint 10. A new branch is created and switched out with the shortcut. So now ls try to modify one of the file. Some line I have added sprint from sprint 10 branch. Save it. Git status. Right. So now same process. The fun, right, the method will be same. Git add and commit, right? Git commit -am, then readme modified, done. Git status. Now the branch 10 working tree is clean. Now, means we can push the branch to your GitHub. Let me push the branch. And before pushing the branch, I will go to the GitHub. Then I will do some changes on the develop branch. Right. So now once the code is ready on your future branch, now the final, the destination, the target will be merge that branch to the develop branch so that your CI/CD job will be triggered and will be deployed the code into the dev environment. Right. So now here, what I'm going to do here is before pushing the branch to GitHub side, let me do some changes on the develop branch so that I will see the conflicts. Right. So develop branch will be having some other changes and my future branch will be having some other changes. Obviously, we are going to see the conflicts. Right. So now what I will do, I will open the readme file on the develop branch. So select the file. Then click on the pen symbol. Right. So now here changes from develop branch. Will understand clearly. That is the reason I'm giving such kind of messages. Save it. Right now here the develop branch is having some other change. Now my future branch will be having some other change. So now when I'm trying to merge the future branch to develop branch, we are going to see the conflicts. Right. Now let's see. So now the next step will be push this branch to GitHub. Right. To push the branch to the GitHub, the command will be git push. right? So now if I give push, it will push to the default branch, develop to develop, right? But here I want to push my new branch. So that is the reason we are going to use complete syntax. Origin, then the branch name will be the sprint 10, the new branch. Enter. Well, SSH, sorry, HTTPS, username and password has to be provided. So now a new branch, right? Because on the GitHub side, we are not going to have this branch. That is the reason a new branch will be created with the same name, whatever you have on the local, nothing but the sprint 10. So now here I can see compare and pull request button, right? If you guys remember or not, when you are trying to push a new branch to the GitHub, you are going to see the compare and pull request button first time. If the branch is already exist on the GitHub side, the same branch you are trying to push, you are not going to see this compare and pull request button. Always for the new change, new branch, we are going to see this compare and pull request button, right? So now we got the future branch, nothing but the sprint 10 into the GitHub side. Now the next step will be merge the new changes to the develop branch, right? So now GitHub side merging two branches will be the pull request process, PR process, right? So now here I'm going to create a PR. So select it, compare and pull request. Then here you can see your source and destinations, right? So now here I can see my destination is develop branch, that is correct, and my source will be the sprint 10, that is also correct, right? I want to move the changes from here to here. You can see you cannot automatically merge, right? Because my develop branch is having some other change, my future branch sprint 10 is having some other change. So that is the reason it is going to tell us I means you cannot automatically merge because of the conflicts. But here the message you can see, don't worry, still don't worry, you can create a pull request, right? So now you cannot merge the code, but PR can be created. That's what it is telling us here. So now here what I'm going to do, I am going to create the PR. To resolve the conflicts, the PR has to be created. Otherwise, you cannot resolve the conflicts from the GitHub side. Okay? So the conflicts cannot be resolved from the GitHub side. So until unless we created a PR. So now here I am going to create the PR. So scroll down, you can see the button create PR, create pull request. Now you can see there is a pull request with the number 2 is created. Now if I scroll down here, you can see this branch has conflicts that must be resolved, right? On which file? The file name is readme.md. Now this is the process from the GitHub side. Sprint 10 is trying to merge to develop branch. In the process, the readme file has having the conflicts. Now to resolve here, you can see a button called resolve conflicts, right? So from the GitHub side only, I am trying to resolve it. So simply click on the resolve. The next, the process will be same. Now here you can see your right this sprint 10 branch changes, and here the develop branch changes. So changes from the sprint 10 branch and changes from the develop branch. So now here to suppose which change you want to maintain, either the develop branch changes you want to maintain or the sprint 10 changes you want to maintain. Suppose I want to maintain the latest sprint 10, I don't want to have the develop. So what I will do, simply I'm going to remove all the stuff. Then here I'm going to remove this line. Changes one, right? Now my new changes I want to maintain. I don't want to have the default branch changes. Likewise. So once you are done with the resolution, then here we can click on the mark as resolved. One of the conflicts are resolved. So I'm going to select this button, mark as resolved. Now you can see a green symbol, green tick, nothing but conflicts are resolved. For the sprint line, so I'm going to have only the latest changes. So now click on mark as resolved, then commit it. Right now we can see here checking for the ability to merge automatically. Right, so now here merging is blocked, right? So now conflicts are resolved because I have enabled the protection rule, nothing but the reviews required. So that is the reason you can see here reviews pending, but not the conflict issue, right? So you don't see any conflict because just now I have resolved it. Right now you can merge it, right? Here you can see as an administrator you can merge it. So I'm going to use my administrator access, merge and select and confirm. So now the sprint 10 will be merged to the develop branch. Done. Right. So right, the two ways are nothing but one is from the local and one is from the GitHub side. Right. From the GitHub side, PR has to be created, even though it is not allowing us to merge the code, but still you can create the PR. If the PR is available, then only you can resolve the conflicts with the help of the GitHub side. Otherwise, you cannot. So that is the reason I have created a PR. Then in the PR, I resolve the conflicts, then saved it, then finally merged my branch from my sprint, nothing but develop to my destination. Right, right, guys, able to understand or not? Any confusions here? Hello,
Yeah, Shankar, it's clear.
Shankar, what is the session?
Clear.
It's clear, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, thank
But
you.
Shankar,
Thanks,
one
guys.
thing, this
Right,
development is like continuous process, right? So whenever the developers are doing
correct.
changes, do we need to perform this every time?
On conflict.
So no, so no. So here now, until unless his changes or her changes are completed, so they are not going to push
Okay.
the branch to GitHub. So first, what they will do, they will implement the changes, right? So it will be like 1 week of changes or one like 2 days of code changes. Once they will complete, like once they are done with the changes, they will test locally on their machine. They will test the changes locally. Then once the testing is successfully completed, nothing but on the local side. Once they feel okay, this is good, then only they are going to push the branch to the GitHub side. Suppose
Okay.
suppose if now I have pushed the branch, but something is has to be changed. Even though I pushed the branch, after the branch push, I want to do some changes. Still, you can do the changes. No need to worry about it. Again, do the changes and push the code back to the same branch.
Okay, before merging, we need
Okay.
to check all this, right?
Yes, exactly. So before merging, n number of changes can be performed. Those changes can be pushed to your GitHub side. Okay. So what will happen? So now here, if you guys observe here, so after the changes are completed, right? So now there are commits you can see here. So now on the same branch, if only one commit is completed, means one commit is happened, then I push the change to my GitHub, then I can see the number of file changes and number of commits. So now after pushing, I am trying to perform some other changes. Now the changes is nothing but adding one more commit to the PR. That's it. So now the commit count will be increased to 3 because I am pointing to the same target, the same branch. Right. So now here the case will be complete the code on the local, test it thoroughly, then push the branch to the GitHub. Or the second way is push the branch to the GitHub and do the work on the local. Again, push the same branch to branch communication, so that the commits are going to add it to that future branch. I mean to say on the GitHub side. So today I have done 2 commits. I have pushed it to the GitHub, my sprint 10. So there in the GitHub side, I can see 2 commits. Tomorrow I'm going to add some more changes, and I have done 1 more commit. Nothing but my third commit. When I push, the third commit is going to add to my future branch. Nothing but the sprint 10. Like that, the commits are going to increase when you are trying to push the changes to the same branch. Once you are good, once you are done with all the changes, now you are going to raise a PR from your develop to means future to the destination branch or the developer release or master branch, like that. Clear, guys?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Shankar,
So
this
now,
is Shanti. I have a doubt here. The whole process that you explained, you made changes to only one of the files, and the change is very small, like, one line code change.
correct.
So when we came
Correct.
across the conflict, it's like we are manually deleting the file. So is this approach valid in the real-time environment? Because, it's like if it is one file, obviously we may come across, hundreds of lines of code changes or something like that. So is this process really valid in the real-time environment?
Yeah. So yeah, correct. So yes, it's a good question actually. Right. So now here, the resolution of conflicts, as I told you guys, 4 ways. So now I am trying to explain the ways. Now in the ways, one is the local fixing, like local resolution, nothing but the manual, and the second way is GitHub side. So now when there are hundreds of changes, like thousands of files are changed or hundreds of lines of code changed, there this process is not suitable. It's a suitable, but it's a time-taken process. We need to spend some amount of time to resolve the issues. Right there, the IDEs, the tools came into the picture. Like now I am going to work with the Java code. As a developer point of view, they are going to work, suppose the application is developing on the Java. Now the Java is having a tool called Eclipse, the IDE. So the Eclipse can be integrated with the Git. Then with their on fly, they can resolve the conflicts once they integrate the Git with the Eclipse. Suppose my code is developing with the .NET. So now I'm going to use Visual Studio. So now here the Visual Studio can have an extension plugin called Git. So now this extension will be added, but the Git will be added to the editor, the Visual Studio. Then on fly there, it will show you the list of the changes on a single click. When you want to have it or don't have it, click it, so that it is going to merge the changes or it is going to remove the changes from the branch. So likewise, the developers are going to use their IDEs to resolve the issues, not like the local or not like the GitHub actually. Right. So if I show you something like right now, I don't have the editor, it is expired. So what I will do here. So usually they are not going to run any command line like this git clone or git push or git pull. Simply everything will be managed through the IDs only. So they will be having a graphical user interface. Simply right clicks, clone, right click, create a branch, something like that they're going to do. So here I don't see the steps here. Conflict extensions. The license is expired. Let me see. I'm able to. Suppose this is in code actually. Like I'm trying to open a module called communication with one of my project module. So when they are going to start working on these modules like this, when they receive the requirement. So here we can see here Team Explorer. There we can see our GitHub stuff, changes, PRs, tags, sync, branches, something like that. Right. So now here, what they will do when they want to have a branches, simply they will click on the branch. Then you can see if you want to create, right, when the sprint starts, right, on the develop branch or whatever the branch, they will create a new branch here. So now this is the my source branch. So suppose my latest code is on the develop branch, they will take otherwise. Suppose let's take the master. Master is having the latest code. So now here I am going to create sprint 11, create a branch. So now the new branch is going to create. So now here for checkout, so it will be checked out to the branch. So now here my sprint 11 is ready. So now what I will do, like the developer will start working on the branch sprint 11. So then once they complete with the branch, they will try to merge the branch, like push the branch to the GitHub, and they'll try to resolve. Means they will try to merge the branch to develop branch. Right there, they got some issues. The conflicts are happening. Like some huge amount of changes are there. They are going to see huge amount of conflicts. So now what they will do, they will pull the code. They will sync the code with the target branch. Right. So means the latest code will be pulled to the develop branch. Check out. Then merge the branch. Now your sprint 11, I'm trying to merge to the branch. So now here, which branch you want to merge? I want to merge the sprint 11 to develop branch. Merge it. They will see the conflicts. So when they see the conflicts, they will click on the conflicts to here. Right. So here simply they will select what they want to. Right. They want to take the source changes. They want to keep the target as it is. Simple, right? So now the source has to be taken, or the target has to be taken, or they want to see the differences. Then they will, like, one line out of 100 lines, only one line has to be do. Like then they will click on the difference. They will do the respect to change by manual like this. So right here, two files will be open. Now if I select the take source, it will take the source only. Then the next file, Jenkins file, I want to keep the target as it is. So I click on the keep the target as it is, then commit the merge. Right. So with this editor, like with the Visual Studio, with the IDEs, simply they can resolve the conflicts on fly, then commit the merge, then finally push the branch. So save it. So this is my change, so I am not going to save it. Save it, then finally push it back to the GitHub. So likewise, with the IDEs, we can resolve the conflicts. This is from the developer side. Right. So developers will be having the IDs as usual. They are going to use their IDs. So now the next will be like, suppose from the DevOps folks. For the DevOps folks, DevOps are not going to have any IDs. right? But we are also doing some changes. We are also going to create the files, Jenkins files, or we are going to create the Docker files. So there are also, we can see some changes. Means the conflicts, the changes, we are going to see the conflicts. So those conflicts, if you want to resolve, then we are having three methods. One is the local way, and the second one is the GitHub way, and the third one is the tools, right? So likewise, the developers are going to have the IDs. So with the help of the IDs, simply they are going to resolve the issues. But for us, we are not going to have the IDs, right? Usually, we are going to have the IDs because sometimes we need to do some kind of debugging, so that we are going to take the IDs. Suppose the IDs are not available for us, then by that time we are going to use the tools. This is the oldest process actually. So right now, the merge config tools are not using because the ID is, right, what are the project we are using, right? The project is like a Java project. With the Eclipse, we are going to resolve the issues simply, very easily. If the, like with the Visual Studio, with the help of Visual Studio, we can resolve the issues very easily. Right? This is the best, like best not, like we are going to use this process. But if the IDs are not available, then the way will be with the help of the tools, merge conflict tools we are going to use, right? So yeah, Shanti, clear? Are your doubt are still?
Yeah. Yes, Shankar, it makes sense now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Shanti. Yeah. So now the fourth way will be the merge tools actually. So the oldest way of resolving the conflicts. So let's see how. So anyway, we are not going to allow anyone is a DevOps guy or is an admin or a developer to resolve the conflicts on the GitHub side. We are not going to allow. Always the conflicts has to be resolved on the local only, either by using the manual way, like I have shown you the first way, or by using this process with the help of the tools, the IDs. Then once the issue is resolved, then finally the change has to be pushed to the GitHub again, so that it will go smoothly, the merging will go smoothly, not from the GitHub side, because there is a problem. There is a problem with the GitHub conflict resolution. Okay, so let me discuss that one, then we'll go to the fourth way. Okay, so the problem is nothing but usually our source will be merged to the target, right? So now my branch will be the sprint branch. So now this is my sprint 11, and it has to be merged to develop. So this is my target, and this is my source. So when the moment I want to merge, I will raise a PR to merge the sprint 11 to develop. So like from here to here. So if any issues we are facing, like the conflicts, so now whatever the conflicts we are resolved, that should be changed to the develop branch. Then right. So the conflict has to be resolved and the commit has to be happen on the target branch, because this will be go for the process of CI/CD, not this one. But when I'm going to use the GitHub to resolve the conflicts, the changes are going to merge into the sprint 11, your future branch. So that is the problem you are going to face when you are trying to resolve the conflict GitHub side. So now what will happen? The complete changes will be moved to sprint 11, not on the develop. Complete change means the resolutions, whatever you are providing. So again, you have to merge this back to develop branch. Otherwise, the changes, the resolutions, you are not going to find on the develop branch. Okay, let's see here. It's going to tell us the same. So now here, I am in the DevOps repo. Git cd DevOps repo, Git branch. Let me check out to my default branch. Git branch, Git pull. That's what are the changes are there on the GitHub side. It came into my local. Let me run the command again. So both are updated. Both are in sync. So now here I am going to create a new branch, sprint 11. So git checkout -b sprint 11 I'm going to create. Okay, same story, just I'm trying to do some changes. We daily backup. A new line I have created, then git status, git commit -am backup changes, git status. Right, so now here before pushing it, so I am trying to do some modification to the same file. Okay, some changes. So now save it. Right, so this change is not exist on my branch, my future sprint 11 branch. So now here git push origin and sprint 11. It's a new branch. So when the new branch is pushed to the GitHub, obviously we are going to see compare and pull request button. So go to the repository, you can see compare and pull request. So click on the compare and pull request. My target is develop sprint. I cannot merge because both are not sync. Still I can create the PR. So I'm going to create the PR. Right, so now here my source will be the sprint 11 and destination will be the develop. So the conflict has to be resolved on this develop branch usually. But here when I'm trying to resolve the conflicts, it will be in the reverse mode. It is going to happen on the reverse mode. See here, committing the changes to the sprint 11, not to the develop. So whatever the conflicts I'm trying to resolve here, those conflicts will be saved on the sprint 11. So that this is some kind of drawback here in our GitHub side. So right, so usually it has to go to the develop branch. So now usually we are not going to give any kind of conflict resolution on the GitHub side, not to the developers or not to the DevOps folks. Everyone has to be done on the local only, their local missions, and that has to be pushed to the GitHub. Right. So again, it is some kind of issue for us. So if we are trying to resolve the conflicts on the GitHub side, you need to make sure the changes are moved to the target branch, not to the source branch. Right. So then the fourth way will be tools, merge tools. Right. So now here what I will do, I have already sprint 11 branch with some changes. So now I'm going to do some changes on the develop branch. Git checkout develop. Now git branch, I move to develop branch. So vi, so my changes will be vi daily backup.sh file. So here must develop branch changes. Git commit -am, then the message backup file changes on the branch, something, some message. Right, so now here I have two branches, both are having some different changes for the same file called daily backup.sh file. So now my develop branch, my future branch, I want to merge to the develop branch. Right, so now on the local, if you want to merge, right, the process will be git merge and your source branch sprint 11. Before that, you should make sure that you are on the target branch, you are on the destination branch. Right now I'm on the destination branch develop because I can see the star symbol, right? So now I am on the destination branch. Now I want to merge my source to my destination, right? So enter. Obviously we are going to see the conflicts because both are not having the same changes, right? So same changes in the sense both are not in the sync, so we are going to see the conflicts. So now I am trying to resolve the conflicts with the help of the tools, not with the manual process. So for that, git merge tool is the command we need to run. So merge tool is the command. So to resolve the issues, there are some tools which are provided earlier in older days. So those one of the tool called vimdiff. There are around 4 to 5 tools are there to handle the tool to handle this kind of conflicts. So in one of the tool by default we are going to get is the vimdiff. So what are the extra tools which you want to use, so those has to be installed in the git so that you can utilize those tools also. By default we are going to get the vimdiff. So I'm going to hit the enter. So now we are going to see 4 screens, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the current situation, current environment where the conflicts are happen, and this is our, it is going to consider the local. So local is nothing but our target destination develop branch. This is the area nothing but before the changes are performed, what the file looks like, right? Before the changes, either the source changes or the target changes. Before the source or target changes, what is the content is there in the file, that's what is going to call as a base. And remote is going to call as a our new changes, our source, right? So now this is my new change copy, right? So on the target some changes are there, on my source nothing but my sprint 11 is having some other change. My new branch is going to consider the remote branch, and the target branch or the destination branch is going to consider the local. Before the changes, how the files looks like, that is the base. So now we need to resolve the issue with the help of this tool, right? So there some commands are going to provide for the vim difference. So with the help of this commands the options, we can resolve the conflicts. So let me open the PDF, the document, to see the resolution. The options are nothing but DIFFG and space RE, right? So now RE is nothing but remote. So right, if you want to take the remote changes, these changes you want to take, and you need to run the command DIFFG space RE. If you want to keep as it is, I don't want to have the remote changes or local changes, then diffg base. If you want to take the destination changes only, target local. So likewise we can use these options to have the changes. So now here, suppose I want to have DIFFG, I want to have the remote changes RE. So we should get the remote changes DIFFG REM. Sometimes if it is not working, try to give the full syntax. Pillars is not working. I forget to. DIFFG REMBOT. Yes. Right. So now here we can see DIFFG REMOT remote. RE is a shortcut, REMOT is a full form. Now I can see on my current environment, the conflicts are gone, and whatever the changes I'm looking for, it came here. This is my current. Right. DIFFG LOCAL local. Now if I give local, it came, the local changes are applied here on my local environment. Right. DIFFG BASC base. I don't want to have any changes. I want to keep the file as is. So likewise, these tools we can use and you can get the changes like from the local, or I want to keep the base, or I want to take the what is called remote. Right. So right, so now here I am going to use the let me try to give the shortcut RE. Yes, even RE is working. Right. So now once you are good with the resolution, right, the changes, then save the changes. Right. So now there are 4 screens, 1, 2, 3, 4. All the screens has to be closed. Right. So to save all at a time, so W key, right? Right quit. So what the right quit will do? It will try to write and save one screen. So now here I want to change. I want to save all the screens, nothing but 4 screens. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then use A. All. Right quit all the screens. Enter. So now here 4 files, nothing but the 4 screens. So now git status. Now you can see the file has to be committed. Git commit -m conflicts resolution something. Now git status. Right. So this is the ARG file which is not required for me right now. I'm going to leave the file. So cat daily backup file. There I can see the file is having the my sprint 11 changes. So git branch. I am on the develop. Right. I'm on my destination. I got my sprint 11 changes. Right. Right. With the help of these merge tools, we can resolve the issues. Like so now here in the interviews they will ask right how we are going to resolve the conflicts. Right now we need to explain these 4 ways. Right. One is manual way, second one is the GitHub side, and the third one is the IDEs with the help of IDEs, and the fourth one is the tools. Right. Right guys. Any doubts?
Shankar, Chris here.
Are we good?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Just one question.
Chris,
So, with the manual, we're able to save both the changes on the local and the remote as well. But using the vimdiff tool, is it possible that we can have both the changes affected or no?
No. Yeah, no. In the vimdiff, they are not given that option. But yes, there are, like as I said, there are 4 to 5 tools are available in the merge conflict resolution. So apart from the vimdiff, we have like that's what I'm looking for here. Fox something is there. So that tool will be having a concept of we can have both the file changes, both the local as well as remote. The third party tool has to be used here. Okay. So let me correct that name. Otherwise, I will give the name today evening or tomorrow. Okay. So exactly. Right. But anyway, we are using the IDs now, so that is the reason we are not using these merge tools actually. But yes, in the vimdiff, the option is not provided, but in the other tools, the option is there. Like even this, the tool I did a rabbit, I think something is there. The tool itself is having a GA also, right? Like how the Visual Studio is having the GA. In the same fashion, with the tool, you can have the GA. With the GA, you can resolve the issues. The other tool. That has to be configured on our machine. Okay. So I will give the commands and I will give the instructions also how to work with that tool actually. But anyway, as I said, right now we are also having the ideas to debug something. So we are using these tools only to resolve our issues also. We are not using any other tools. Yeah. But anyway, yes, there are different methods, different ways to resolve the conflicts. Right. So, right, guys, are we good? So, Teja and your team, right? Able to understand, right?
Yes, Shankar. Fine.
Yeah, cool. Right. So now here in our previous class, we discussed about moving the code from one repo to another repository. Right. We have seen the adding the remote path and push the branch, like the master branch, into the other repository. Right. So now sometimes what will happen here, already the repositories will be exist, right? And also the repository will be having the same master branches, right? So now here, suppose if I take an example here, I have two different repositories. DevOps repo and Ansible repo. So now this DevOps repo, right now we are working with the repository, is having already the master branch. Now I will go to the Ansible repository. Right here also I am going to have the master branch. So now I want to push the master branch code of DevOps repo to the Ansible repository. Right. So now if I go to the DevOps repo, and in the DevOps repo, if I see the branch master, there are three files are there: git ignore, readme.md, daily backup.sh file. So now let me go to the Ansible repository. Ansible repo. Okay, here also the same files are available. So what I will do, I will add one more file here so that both should not be matched. So master branch, add a file here, create a new file. Some new file I'm adding here. Committing directly on the master branch. Right. So now here I have 4 files on the Ansible repo, and on my DevOps repo I have 3 files. So when I try to push the master branch to here, obviously we are going to see the issues. It is not going to allow us. So in that case, if you want to push the code one repository to another repository, but I require the code, but here it is not going to allow me because both are having the same branch with different changes. Usually it will be like that, right? A repository is having some other changes and the other repository is going to have some other changes. Both should not be in sync, right? So now how we are going to handle this situation, right? So now here to handle the situation, what we are going to do here is, instead of pushing the same branch to the other repository, we are going to create a new branch so that the new branch should not be exist on your target repository. You need to make sure what are the branch I am going to create, the branch should not be exist on the target repository, then push it out. Okay, so let's see here. So I am going to take the, or else what I will do for better understanding, I am going to create a develop branch. So now I am going to create a develop branch on the Ansible repository by taking the master as a source. So create. So now a develop branch will be created on the Ansible repository. Right? This is having 4 files. So now if I go to my DevOps repo, if I go to the develop branch of the DevOps repo, so there we are going to see some other files. So due to internet issues, it is keep on logging out. So I can ls. So I will go to the DevOps repo. So here I have some other files. Now git branch. I am in the develop. Now this branch, the DevOps repo branch, I want to push to Ansible repository, right? One code moving from one repo to another repo. But here the problem is already here some other changes are there. Login file is not exist here. Here I am having the login file. Diary backup.sh.org file is here. I am not having the file on the destination. Like some other changes. So now here if I try to push the same develop branch to my target, obviously it is not going to allow us. So now to handle the situation, what we are going to do here is we are going to create a new branch. The new branch should not be exist on the remote repository or the target repository. So now here I have only master and develop branch. So now here I am going to create a new branch here which is not exist on my target. So I am going to create here git checkout. Sorry, I don't require to check out here. Simply I need a branch. So git branch name. So now here my source is develop branch. On top of the develop branch, I am going to create a new branch. So develop copy some name. Now git branch. A replica is created with the name called develop-copy for the develop branch. Now this develop-copy is not exist on my target repository. Fine. So now what I will do, I am going to add the path. Now process remains same. We require to add the remote path of the repository into your source repository, correct? So now here I will come out from the DevOps-repo cd. Now I'm going to clone my destination repository. Git clone. Now I have the two repositories. Ansible is my destination is there, my source is here. So now let's go to the destination cd Ansible. So I'm not going to perform any change on the destination. Simply I required a path. To get the path, I cloned it. I went to the repository. Then I'm going to run the command git remote -v, right? So git remote is the command to fetch the remote path details. This is my remote path. So now just leave it. Then go to your source. My source is DevOps repo. So I switching to my DevOps repo. cd DevOps repo. Now git remote -v. So I am going to see remote path for my source repository, DevOps repo. This is my remote path, right? So now I'm going to add my destination remote path into my source, right? To add the destination remote path, git remote add some name, right? I'm going to use the name Ansible for better understanding. Then the path, my destination remote path, I'm going to copy and paste. Both will be the same, one for the fetching purpose, one for the pushing purpose. This is the default architecture of Git. We are not going to do anything here. By default, it is going to generate two entries for fetching and pushing, right? So anything you can take it here because both are same only, right? So now here I have taken the entry, one of the entry, then enter. So now git remote -v. So now we are going to see 4 entries, 2 for the default one, nothing but my DevOps repo, and 2 for my target one, Ansible repo. So now you can see the name Ansible because I have given the name as Ansible, right? So now here I want to push my develop code of source repository called DevOps-repo to my destination called Ansible repository. So for that, what I did, I make sure the branch is not exist on my remote. So for that, what I did, I have created a new branch called develop-copy. So now git branch, you can see, yes, the new branch is ready. So now simply push it. So to push, git push. Git push, what the git push will do, by default, you will try to connect to the default remote path and will try to push the default branch, default to default. But here my case is, I want to push the new branch, not the default. and also I don't want to push to the not to the default. I want to push to the some other repository. So there I'm going to give the syntax git push. What is the target, right? My target is Ansible repository. What is the remote path name? Name is Ansible, right? So now give the name Ansible. Now when the moment I give the Ansible, it will try to connect to the remote path of Ansible repository. It will connect it. Then what you want to push? I want to push the branch called develop-copy. Now we can see a new branch is pushed to my remote called Ansible repository. So now here, let me go to the Ansible, my target. Then here, let's try to see the branches. Develop-copy, right? Because develop is exist on both the repositories with the some other changes. So now when I try to push the same branch to the target, you are going to see the issues. So that is the reason I have created a new branch, and the new branch is pushed to my target in this fashion. Then I can use this branch. The other repository code I can use in my target repository, right? So this is the way of moving the code from one repo to another repo with the help of the branches and with the help of the remote paths. Okay, right? Now this is the interview areas, guys. The people will ask you, okay, I want to move the code, I want to push the code from one repo to another repo. How we are going to do it? Okay, right? So if I take the real-time scenario, where exactly we are going to use this kind of thing? If I right in the real-time, right? Suppose my project is running with the monolithic way, right? So it's a single pack. The application is developed with the monolithic way of development. So now the customer, the client wants to migrate from the monolithic way to microservices, right? So now here, when you want to convert the code into microservice, obviously we are going to do some code refactoring, right? Adding a new features, dividing the code into modules, right? Then each module will be deployed as a microservice, right? So now we are going to start developing the code for, right? Take the from the mono to microservice. If I try to start from the scratch, it will take huge amount of time because the application is already running in the monolithic way. Right now I'm trying to start working on the microservices. If I try to start working from the scratch, it will take huge amount of time, the implementation. So instead of doing all the stuff, what we can do is we can take the logics, the service, whatever the modules are there, the modules, whatever the logic they have implemented, we can take the logics. On top of the logics, we can apply the new features, the microservice things, right? So now here, I don't need the complete history of the code of the monolithic, right? Because this monolithic repository will be using from the past 10 plus years. Now if the 10 plus years the repository is being used, means how much history will be generated in the background. Huge amount of history are going to see, right? Many changes are going to push to the source code. Then you can see the logs. But when I'm going to convert the mono to microservice, by that time I don't require the history, but I need the code, right? So the thing is, first we are going to take the code, the logic, the main part from the mono to microservices. Now on the code you will start implementing the new add-ons, the features, the microservice stuff, instead of writing from the scratch. So by that time we require to push the code from one repo to another repo. As a simple use case, like many cases will be there. As an example, I am telling you this, right? So now the first thing will be, you are going to push the code from one repo to another repo by creating a branch. Then on the branch we are going to remove the unnecessary code and we are going to add the new code, so that you can save some amount of time. This is one scenario. Now in the scenario, the history part, right? So when the moment I push the new branch here, develop-copy from the source to target, I will get the code. Along with the code, I will get the history also, right? So now here, if I go to the develop-copy, right there, I can see the history also, 16 commits, right? So now here I don't require the history because I want to start working from the fresh. I require the code only. I don't want the history. Right? It's a right, 2 days from the past 2 days or 2 weeks we are working on the code. So on the 2 days only itself I created 16 commits. If I working from the past 10 plus years, now think about the history, which is right. So now here I don't require the history because I want to start a fresh repository with the fresh code for the microservices. The fresh history has to be there. I need the fresh history, not the old of the monolithic history. Right. So now without history, you want to push the code. This is the second scenario. So now we have seen with the history, I pushed the code from one repo to another repo. Right, the code as well as the history. Now the second scenario is I need the code, but I don't require the history. Right. So without history, how we are going to push the code? This is the second way, and one of the interview question also for us. So I want to push the code, but I don't require the history. Right. So there, how we are going to handle this situation. Right. So let me go here again. Right. So right, that is the reason, guys. These commands are very, very important for us. We are going to play with the commands most of the time. So rather than GitHub. So many things you cannot handle from the GitHub side. So but efficiently can handle from the local by using the commands. So commands are very, very important for us. For a DevOps guy, for the developers, they don't require to learn the commands. Simply they have the ideas with the right clicks, they can handle anything. But for the DevOps folks, for us, commands are very important. Right. So now I want to push the code without the history to my remote repository. So what I'm going to do here is, right, so let me again, let's log out. Sudo -i. Now I have two repositories, DevOps repo and Ansible repo. The same repository I'm going to take for this use case. So now here, let me go to the DevOps repo. Now git branch. Right. So now the first in the requirement, the first point, which branch code you want to push. Okay, repository is the DevOps repo. That is fine. My source. Now in my DevOps repo, I have multiple branches. Develop, copy, sprint 10, sprint 11. Now which code you want to push? Either develop branch code or develop copy branch code or sprint 10 code or sprint 11 code. Okay. So now once you got the requirement of, suppose I want to push the sprint 11 code to my target repository without the history. So now as a first step, we should switch to the sprint 11 branch. Otherwise, you will be in the develop branch. You are going to push the develop branch code only. So now I'm going to switch git checkout sprint 11. Now git branch. Now I switch it to sprint 11 branch. Now this code I want to push. What is the code here? ls. This is the content. And if I see the log, I can see the history for the sprint 11. Right. So, but now I don't want this history. So what I'm going to do here is I want to remove the history. So to remove the history, what we need to do here is, right, in our first class I told you, right, the working tree. The working tree of the Git will be having all the Git stuff like the branches, head, commits, references, right? Many things it's going to have in the working tree, right? So now here, let me see the working tree ls-a. The working tree will be under the .git, correct? So now let me go to the .git. Here we are going to see all the information of the Git, the configurations, head, hooks, info, logs, branches, right? So now remove this .git, remove the .git, so that we are going to lose entire Git stuff. Means you are going to lose the branches, we are going to lose the commits, we are going to lose the heads, index, logs, everything, because I am going to remove the working tree, but not the code. The code in the sense, this data, right? So now here what will happening here is simply I am trying to convert the repository into a normal directory. That's it. Right. So now when the working tree is going to create, when I'm going to run the command git init, when I run the command git initialization, then a working tree will be created as a default, so that you can start working on the git. So now here my requirement is I don't want to have the history, right? So now here what I'm going to do to remove the history, I am going to remove the working tree so that my repository will be converted into a normal directory, right? So now here rm-rf, the Linux command to remove a directory .git. Done. So now this DevOps-repo is no more repository. It is a normal directory now. Let's see. Now try to run any operation git status. It is not a repository because no working tree. When there was no working tree, it is not a repository. Simple, right? So now here I have the code. I have the code, but it's not a repository. Means I don't have the history. I'm not going to have the history, but I have the code. So now this code I want to push to my remote, my target. Remote in the sense my target Ansible repo. Now what I need to do? If you want to push the code, it should be a Git repository. Otherwise, you cannot push the code because it's a normal directory. Normal directory cannot communicate with the GitHub Git repositories. Those must should have the Git repositories only. So now what I am going to do here is I am going to convert this normal directory as a repository to communicate with the other repositories. So now to convert normal directory as a repository, the command will be git init. A .git is created, right? So now git branch, nothing is there because just now I converted a normal directory into repository. When the master branch is going to create, when there is a commit is happened, correct? At least one commit is required to see the master branch. Master is the default branch. That is the reason I'm telling the master branch, right? So now here, as of now, no commit is happened on this new repository. That is the reason you are not going to see any branches, right? So now let me see git status so that it should show me all these files are in untracked state. All the files are in untracked state. So git status, right? Now all the files are in untracked state. Now process again same. Git add git commit -m new repo something some name. Now git status. Now we can see working tree is clean. Now we can see a branch called master. When the moment I run the commit command, when I saved it, automatically a master branch will be created. Git branch, right? It is a new fresh repository. This is entirely on my local, guys. It's not like the remote ones, right? You have to remember this point carefully. Whatever the operations you are doing on the local, it will be local only, not to the GitHub. It never ever sync until unless you push it, right? On the local, whatever you want to play, you can play it. That is up to you, right? So now here to push the changes, to push my one of the repository code to the other repository without the history. So what I did is simply I removed the working tree. Then I converted the normal directory into repository by running the git init command. Then I saved it freshly so that it is going to save the code with single commit. So now git log. Now see here, no previous history. Only the latest commit is there. That is nothing but my fresh commit, new repo. Right. So now here I have the code. What are the code I want to push? The code is ready. And also this is a repository. Now the next step will be adding the remote path of the destination repo into your source. Now this is my source. Now we need to add the destination repository remote path, right? So already I have we done here, so I'm going to take from here by adding the remote path. Okay, I think it is not here. Okay, let me go back to Ansible repository, my destination repository, then git remote -v, then come back just to know the path that I went to the remote repository, then I ran the git remote command, then simply I'm coming back. Then cd DevOps repo, git remote add Ansible, some name can be anything, and the path. Now git remote -v. Right. So now the Ansible repository is added. The observation here is we are seeing only 2 entries, not the 4. Right. In our previous use case, I have shown you four entries, one for the source, sorry, 2 for the source and 2 for the target. But here I am seeing only 2. Why? Means this DevOps repo is not the GitHub repository. It is not from the remote. This is the repository I created in my local. For the local, you are not going to have any remote path. If you are trying to clone, if you are trying to get the repository from the GitHub, then only you are going to see the remote path because you want to connect to the remote ones. Now the DevOps repo I converted into local, a normal directory. The normal directory I converted into repository again, so that we are not going to have any remote paths for the local repositories. So now just I have added the remote repository, nothing but the destination one, Ansible repo, into my local repository called DevOps-repo with the name Ansible. Right. So now here in my local repository called DevOps repo, in that I have the master branch. In my Ansible already the master branch is there. It is not going to allow me if I am trying to push the master branch to master branch. That is the reason we are going to create a new branches. Correct. So now git branch, some name, sprint 12 I am going to give. And so now this sprint 12 is a replica of my master branch. Nothing but whatever the code I want to push, this code I want to push. So now the sprint 12 is not exist on the Ansible repository. Now you can push it. So now git push no origin Ansible, then sprint sprint 12. Now enter. So now try to push it so that see here sprint 12 will push it to the Ansible repository. So now if I go to my Ansible, obviously you are going to see the new branch with the name sprint 12. Sprint 12. Now if I click on the sprint 12, no more history, only one commit, that is for the this file changes. Right. So I got the code without the history. This is how we are going to handle the situations when you want to push the changes without the history. Like sometimes we require to handle this kind of scenarios. So there, this process we are going to see. So now here, this DevOps repo, once my requirement is done, no more it is required for me, right? Because it is my local repository. You can remove the directory. Then you can clone the DevOps repo as it is, so that you will get the remote DevOps repository into local. Otherwise, what will happen? This DevOps repository is not in sync with the DevOps repository of the GitHub. Right. So here I can see in my account, the DevOps repo will be having will be having different branches like develop, master. If I go to my local, here I can see only 2 branches, right? Because this DevOps repo is a separate repository which I created right now by removing branch and S3. Right. So no more these two are in sync. Right. So based on the requirement, I have done many changes for the repository by deleting the working tree, then saved it again, then created some separate branch, then I push it. So now once the job is done, simply you can remove this one, rm remove, right? rm-rf DevOps repo. Done. Now what you can do here is simply clone the DevOps one from your GitHub, so that you are going to get the same DevOps repo into your local again, like that. Right. So yes, so this is one thing, guys. One of the end also one of the real-time practice. So any confusion here, or are we good? I see no response. Hello, able to hear me, guys?
Yeah, Shrika. We'll have to go through this again. Then we can
So every step I have placed in the PPT like this and all the steps. So just go through it. If you guys are facing any issues, let me know. Okay. Or still, if you are confusing, let me know. I will explain it one more time.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take a 15 minutes break here. Okay. Then we'll come back. What do you say? So 12:15 right now, 12:16.
12:30.
Yeah. We'll connect back at 12:30.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, guys. So now,
This conference will now be recorded.
right. So now we have seen the branches creation, merging of the branch locally and on the remote side, and conflicts resolution, git conflicts, the merge conflicts, and also pushing the code from one repository to another branch with the help of one repository to another repo with the help of the branches. Right. So now, right. So I don't want to maintain the branches. I want to delete it. So deleting a branch. Right. So if you guys observe here, usually the developers or the DevOps folks, when they want to work with the code, right, the practice will be, we are not going to do any changes directly. Our branches like called master, develop, release branches, right? So we are going to create a new branch, like for the developers, we are going to call it the future branches. For the DevOps, we are going to give some branch name like sprint 1, sprint 2, or some XYZ. So on the branches, we are going to do the changes. Then once the changes are completed, then we have to merge the branch to the first level of branch called develop, right? So there we are going to create the PRs, the PR, with the help of the PR, we are going to merge the branch. So once after the merge is happened, so in the next step will be the approver who is going to approve for the merge. He has to delete the branch. What are the new branch? The future branch is created. Once the future branch is merged to the develop branch, it has to be deleted. Otherwise, we are going to see huge amount of list here, the branches, if you are not cleaned up, right? So if I take the sprint 10, sprint 11, future one, those are all the part of my develop things. So all this will be at some point of time. Once the sprint is closed, we are going to merge into the develop branch. So once the code is merged, we don't require to manage these branches, right? So now here, two ways of deletion of branches. One is, once the PR is merged, immediately we are going to see an option called delete branch. If I click on the branch, the future branch will be deleted. That is the one way. The second way is, even though you forget to delete the branch. Later on, we can delete the branches later on. So now here, if I want to delete any branches, so what I will do, I will go to my DevOps, like what are the repository? I'm going to click on the repository. Then go to the settings. Yeah. Sorry. No. Yeah. So yeah, deletion of branch. Right. So no, yeah, sorry guys. So something will mess up. Right. So let me recollect it again. So when I want to delete a branch, right, go to the repository, click on the DevOps repo, like what are the repository, right? Every repository will be having n number of branches. So now go to the repository. Then here you can see a option called branches. So where are the branches? Click on the repository. You can see the branches. We don't require to go to the settings. So here you can see the list of branches. So click on the branches. Now you can see the branches information. This is the default branch, and these are the branches I have created. So now you can see here what are the branches are merged. Sprint 10 is merged. Future 1 is merged. Right. So now here these are not merged. I can see here you can create a new pull request from here. Right. Then if you want to delete, we can delete the branches. Right. So now sprint 10 is already merged, so I don't require to manage this branch. So simply I will go and I will click on here, deleted. By mistake, if you delete something, you want to get it back, you can restore it. So likewise, on the GitHub side, from the console, if you want to delete any branches, this is the process. So go to the repository and click on the branches. Now see 6 become 5. Click on the branches and delete it. Right. So now I want to delete the branch from my local. Right. So when you want to delete a branch from your local, again the commands we are going to use. Right. So here I will go to my local. Now let me cd DevOps repo, then git branch. So as of now only one branch is there. So let me create a new branch, or let me pull it. So git branch sample. A new branch is created. Sample. Now I want to delete this branch from local, right, by using the command line. So git branch -t for the deletion and the branch name. Delete the branch. So likewise, from your command line, from your local, from the workstation, we can delete a branch with the help of the command called git branch -d. So sometimes the deletion is not going to allow. So the resource will be locked, or some other resource being utilized. This branch, with some reason, it is not going to allow us to delete the branch. So by that time, if you want to delete forcefully, I want to delete it at any cost. Even though if anyone is using, I don't bother about it. Simply I want to delete it. So now we can use here instead of lower, use the caps D, so that even though the branch is not going to allow you to delete, it is going to delete it forcefully. So forceful deletion can be done with the help of the caps D. Normal soft deletion can be done with the help of the lowercase, smaller d. This is how we can delete a branch from the local, and this is how we can delete a branch from the GitHub side. So now I want to delete the branch of the remote one from my local. Right. So I don't want to go here and delete it. I want to delete a branch of the remote repository from my CLI, from the local. Right. So here I can see the future one is not deleted yet. Right. So now I want to delete the future one branch from my CLI, from the workstation. Right. So now here, let me go to my repository. Right. So this is the same repository, DevOps repo. Now I am also in the DevOps repo. Right. So now I am going to delete the branch from my local. So git push origin and the branch name. So now the branch name is future one. So copy and paste. So now here, so let me clone it once, so that I want to make sure both my local and as well as remote is in sync. So git checkout future one git branch. So if both are in sync, I should see the same branch in my local also. The same branch in my local also. So first time, like when right, I think it is also explained, right? So first time we are not going to see any remote repository branches on your local until unless you have to check out one time. Right. So now here by default I am not going to see the future one branch, even though I can see here already up to date. Right. So when I want to see the remote branch, I need to run the checkout command at least once. Then going forward, I can see the future one branch, nothing but the remote branch in my local. This is the one thing which you need to remember. Right. So now here I can see my both local and remote as well, both are in sync. Right. So now I want to delete the future one branch, not from the local, from the GitHub side. So now here I'm going to run the command git push origin future one. So now this is the command is nothing but we are trying to push the future one from the local to GitHub. This command purpose is. Now the same command can be utilized to delete the branch also of the remote repository. So now to delete the branch in the command, the only change what we need to do here is add a colon in front of the branch. That's it. So colon has to be added before the branch name, so that it will treat it is a command for the deletion. If I remove the colon, so that the Git will treat this command is for the pushing the changes. To push the change, there is a command. To delete the branch, colon has to be given. So now enter. Right. So now authentication is required, right? So my username and password. Now you can see the branch is deleted. So now if I go to my remote, just refresh it. Now you can see that is gone. Future one is gone. So likewise, we can remove the you can delete the branches from the local. We don't require to go here and delete it. The option. Right. We have an option. Right. So now let me go to the PPT and see the other options. Right. So now here comparing two branches we have seen, right? When you want to compare two branches, git the difference is the same command we are going to use, branch one and branch two. Right. Already we have seen this one. So now there is an interview question for us on the branches side. Right. So the entry question is right. So now here I will come back from here and I am going to create a new repository. So now mkdir, a new repository I'm going to create. Git Repo. So now it is a normal Linux directory. Git Repo is there, right? CD Git Repo. So now I'm going to convert this normal directory into GitHub Git repository. So for that, what we are going to do, we are going to run a command called git init. So now the normal directory is converted as a Git repository, and we can observe the working tree also created .git. So now here I am going to perform some changes, nothing but adding few files. So ls as of now nothing is there. Git branch. If I am trying to see the branch, I am not going to see any branch because no commit is happened as of now. No single commit is happened. So now here I am going to create few files touch sample.txt hello.py something. So two files I have created. Now we can check the status. Both will be in untracked state and run the command to make it track. So git add, then git status. Now it's going to ask you to save it, right? Changes to be committed. Git branch. See, still I'm not going to see any branch because no commit is happened here as of now. So now I'm trying to commit. So git commit -m two files something. Now when the moment I run the git commit, immediately a branch will be created with the name master. That is fine, right? Git log, one commit will be generated history. That is also fine. We know all this stuff. ls, there are two files. Now this is the master branch, which is having two files. One is hello and another one is sample. Now I'm going to create a new branch, git branch develop. So now this develop branch is replica of master. The confirmation git diff, I'm going to compare both the branches, master against develop. No difference I'm going to see here. Both are in sync. So now I'm going to switch to the develop branch. Git checkout develop. So now I switch it to the branch called develop git branch. I can observe here. We can observe here a star. It is green color, right? Means we are in the same branch, develop branch. Now I'm going to create a new file here. Touch develop.txt. Some file. So on the branch called develop branch, now I am going to I have created a some file called develop.txt. The process remains same. Git status, it will be untracked, right? Track it and save it. So git commit -m develop file created. Right, git status. Now the shortcut is not going to work because at least one commit has to be ran on this new branch, right? So that is the reason the shortcut is not accepting. So now let's go to the old process, like what the running the two commands, git add and git commit. These commands will work fine, no issues with these commands. Sometimes the shortcuts are not going to work due to some reasons. So now here git commit. So now develop file is created. Git status. Now I can see my working tree is clean, right? So now on the branch, I have done some changes on the branch called develop branch, right? So now git diff master against develop branch, right? Now I'm trying to compare. Now on the develop branch, I have a new file called develop.txt, which is not present in the master branch. A new file. I can see the changes. Now what I'm going to do here is simply I'm going to merge my develop branch to master branch, right? So git merge, right? Whom you want to merge? I want to merge the develop, my source, my destination, my target is the master. So make sure you are on the master branch. So now here git branch. I'm not on the master. So now here your merge is not successfully going to happen because you are going to merge the same branch to same branch, right? So now git go to the destination first, the target, git checkout master. Now git branch. Now I'm on the destination. Now you can merge your source. My source is develop. So git merge your source develop. Right. So now the changes are merged to the master. Now if I see the difference, git diff master against develop, no changes we are going to observe because the changes are merged to my develop. This process, everything already we have discussed it. No new thing here, right? Creation of branches, merging one branch another branch, everything we have covered it, right? So now here I am going to create one more branch on top of the master. Git checkout -b release branch. Now I can see a branch will be created with the name release, and also my cursor switch to the release branch because of this shortcut checkout -b. Correct. So now here I am going to perform some changes. So touch release.txt. Now add and save. Git add and git commit -m release file created. Now git status, everything is clean on the branch release. So now git branch. So now I have a master branch and I have a develop branch and a release branch. So now here the observation is master and developer both are same because whatever the changes we have done on the develop branch, those are merged to the master, right? So now the develop branch is merged to the master. But here if I try to compare the release and master, git diff master against release, now we can see there is a difference. Release file is there in the release branch, which is not exist on the master branch, right? So now here these guys are saying because I merged the develop branch to master, and these guys are not saying because I did not merge as of now the release branch. So now here the interview question, the question will be, I want to see the list of branches which are merged to the master, and I want to see the list of branches which are not merged to the master. Merged branches, non-merged branches, right? Here only the 3 branches, so that I can go run the diff commands, git diff, and see the difference, so that I can confirm, okay, this branch is merged and this branch not. Suppose if there are hundreds of branches there in the repository, then how we are going to list out the merged branches and the non-merged branches to the master or to the any specific branch, right? So there, this is the introduction guys for us. So there is a command called git branch -merged, right? So now here -merged is the option, so that with the help of this option we can know what are all the branches are merged to the master, right? Now you can see master along with the develop, right? So now the develop branch is merged to the master, right? So now here I want to see all the list of branches which are not merged to the master. -no, -no, merged master. You can see release branch, right? So this is the introduction guys for us. So when I want to see the list of the branches which are merged to any not only master, any specific branch, you can give develop, you can do release, or you can give any branch. So if you want to see the list of branches which are merged to the specific branch, which are not merged to the specific branch, you can get the list like this, right? So I want to see the branches information of my local, the branches information of my remote, the branches information of both local as well as remote, right? So now when you want to see the branches information of local, git branch straight command, you can see my local branches, and local means on your workstation. Now the same repository, right? So now right now in a git repository, so let me go to the remote branch repository because this git repo is not exist on the GitHub side. So we are not going to see any remote branches for this Git repo. So let me go back to our remote repository, either DevOps or Ansible. So let me go to the DevOps. Now Git branch will show you my workstation and my local, the branches information. Now I want to see the branches information of the remote from the GitHub side. Create branch -r, so that R means remote, so that you are going to see whatever the branches are present on the GitHub side. Then the list of branches you are going to see. Develop is the current position, nothing but the default. Right. So now when I want to see both my local as well as the remote, -a, all local as well as the remote. Like that, we can find the branches information by using these options: remote, all, only, the local. Right. Then we have one more interview question: renaming of a branch. Okay. So now here I have created a branch, something like that. So now git branch. I have developed and I have future one branch. Now I want to create a new branch. Git branch hotfix. Now here by mistakenly I have given HAT instead of HOT. I have given HATTPS. Now I want to rename the branch. Renaming of a branch. So when you want to rename a branch, git branch -m is the option. So now your branch name is hotfix and the new name will be hotfix. Now git branch, the branch is renamed from the hotfix to hotfix. So likewise, we can rename a branch. Again, this is only to the local, not to the remote. Right. So now if you want to if you want to rename the remote branch, they will ask you, how can I rename a branch? So now you need to tell -m, git branch -m. Then they will ask you how to rename a branch from the GitHub, from the remote side. How you are going to do? There, this command is not going to work because this is completely to the local. Right. So now when you want to rename a branch of the remote, so what we need to do here is, so configurations and merge something, right? So now here there are some things that happen. So now what I will do, let me come back. Instead of fixing those issues, time taken, so I am going to remove the complete repository. Then I will go to the GitHub and I'll clone it freshly so that both will be in sync. Git clone. Now cd DevOps repo. Now git branch -r. Now these are the branches are exist on the remote side. I want to rename this sprint 11 to sprint 12 on the GitHub side. I want to rename the branch. So what we can do here is, right? So now what I can do here is, first I'm going to take this branch into my local. So git branch. The default branch will be listed first time. So when you want to see the branches in your local, first we need to check out at least one time. So right, git checkout switching. Checkout means switching. So now I'm going to use this sprint 11. Now git branch, I can see the branch here in the list. Right. So now on the remote, the sprint 11, I want to rename it as a sprint 12. So what I'm going to do is, first on the local, right, I clone the branch into my local. On the local, I'm going to rename the branch. So git branch -m, then sprint 11 to sprint 12. Now the sprint 11 is renamed to sprint 12 in my local, but I want it on the GitHub side. So now what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to push it, the new branch, git push origin, right? Now my new branch. invalid username. 4 names I have given. Actually, it is 3 names only. Now a new branch is pushed to my DevOps repo with the name called Sprint 12. Right. My requirement is I want to rename to Sprint 11 to Sprint 12, but here I can see both the branches. Then simply what we can do is let's remove this branch. Git push origin colon Sprint 11. So now I'm going to delete the Sprint 11 branch from the remote side. Just refresh. So we are going to see the new branch with the Sprint 12. So now this is the process which we are going to do to rename a branch on the GitHub side. Rename it locally, push it to the GitHub, then remove the old one. If I want to rename, there is no straight command, something like git branch -m. But in the local, simply we can run the git branch -m, old name, then followed by the new name. Right. So in this fashion, we can rename the branches of a repository. Right. So now let me go here and see. Now there are some shortcuts with the Linux. Okay. Right. So now here, if you want to delete all the local branches, right, so this shortcut can be applied. So there are n number of branches are there. When you want to delete all the local branches, take the command and run it. Git branch -merge master. It deleted the dollar branch. I don't want to delete the branch actually. I deleted dollar branch. Okay, so anyway, let me go to the other repository, git cd git repo. Here I can see 3 branches are there. So now let me try to run this command. So now here I am on the release branch, right? So my cursor is the release branch. So now it left the release branch and it removed all the other branches. Development master. So likewise, this is not the git command. It is a combination of our Linux. It is not also in entry question. Just I have given this kind of like a kind of shortcuts we can apply, so that when you want to delete all the branches, you can use this stuff. Right. So likewise, there are sometimes what will happen, even though you deleted the remote branch, still the information of the remote branch you are going to observe on the local, even though the branch is no more exist on the remote side. So by that time we need to clean up the caches. So right, so now here git fetch origin -- prune is the option, so that it's going to remove all the obsolete local remote tracking branches. Right. So now the remote branches that no longer exist on the remote side. So now the remote branches are deleted, but still your local repository is still trying to give you the information of the branch which is not exist on the remote. From the cache, it is going to pick the information, it is going to give it to you. Right. So by that time you need to delete all the stuff. So this is the command which we are going to use to delete all the branches which are not exist on the remote. Git fetch origin -- prune. Right. Right, guys. So now These are the branches side, branches creation, renaming a branch, deletion of a branch locally, deletion of a branch remote side, pushing the one branch code, one branch to another branch of some other repository, and merging the branches and handling the merge conflicts like on the branches side. So very important for us actually. These are all the concepts are very important for us, right? So again, I'm going to ask you guys in the branches section, any doubts, or are we good? I am not able to hear anything, guys.
Shankar, it's clear, but by practice, right, we will get to know like from where we are lacking.
Yeah, sure, Tejasna. Yeah, thank you. Because now we are trying to cover 4 hours of topics, right? So it may be somewhat content will be like somewhat used. So trying to understand are somewhat difficult. But yes, with the practice, you will come to know. Yes, I agree with you. Any doubts, please let me know, guys. Okay, but make sure the concepts are clear. If you are not clear, please let me know, guys. I will explain one more time. So like it should be clear. So later on you can practice it. So that is some other story for us, the practicing this, right? So then if you are good, then I'm going to cover the next topic of the Git is nothing but versioning, tagging or versioning. Okay, right? So now here basically every version control tool, the purpose of every version control tool is to maintain the history, nothing but maintaining the versions, right? So now here, as of now, whatever the concept we have covered there, I did not show you any kind of versioning here, but still we can see the track, nothing but the history with the help of the commit IDs, right? So now every repository will be having the branches. Now every branch will be having their own history, right? So now if I go to my one of the repository, like the remote one, so go to the DevOps repository, git branch. Okay, I think I have to do something here. Okay, let me go to the Ansible one, cd Ansible repository, git branch, master. Let me pull. Right. So now there are 2 new branches are there in the master, develop -copy sprint 12. Both are cloned into my local. Right. Now git branch. First time we are not going to see. Right. Now git checkout. Enter. Now git checkout sprint 12. So now git branch, I can see all the branch, both the branches also in my local. Develop copy master sprint 12. So now here every branch will be having their own history, right? So now if I go to the sprint 12 git log, now these are the commits for the sprint 12 branch. If I go to the master git checkout master, then try to see the log. This is the history of the master branch, right? Now git branch, if I go to the develop copy git checkout, now I switch it to the develop copy branch, git branch. Now I want to see the history of that particular branch, git log. Now this is the history of the branch. So likewise, every branch will be having their own history, right? So now here, remembering these commits are very difficult for us. It's a 40 characters long. We cannot remember. As a human, it is difficult for us to understand these commits, right? So there we are going to give some alias, some name to the commit IDs. Those we are going to call as a tags, like versions, right? So tag is nothing but simple. In the simple term, we are going to create a alias for this commits, alias name, tags. Okay. So now with the help of the tags, we are going to deploy our content, and with the help of the tags, we are going to go to the previous histories very easily instead of going with the commit IDs. But in the background, again your tag will be referred to the commits only, commit IDs only. So now the history nothing but the commits only, and the git commit IDs only the history. But for us, we are going to give some easy understandable ways, nothing but the tags for easy easy identifying the versions or understanding the versions. Right. So now in the Git, how we are going to create the tags? Okay. So now in the Git, how we are going to create the tags, nothing but creating the versions. Okay. So now there are two types of tags are there in the Git. Right. One is light-weighted tags. The type one is light-weighted tag, and the second one is annotated tags. Right. So tags can be classified into two. One is the light-weighted tags, and the second one is the annotated tags. So no big difference is there in between the tags. Both are simple only. Right. So now here, let me show you how to create the tags and what is a light-weighted tag and what is a annotated tag. Okay. Then how to create the tags on the local and how to create the tags on the remote side. Okay. Then deletion of tags. Okay. Right. So let me go here. So now I am on the Ansible repository. In the Ansible repository, I am on the branch called develop. So let me go to the master. So git checkout master. Now git branch. I'm on the master. Now I'm trying to pull it so that I want to make sure both are in sync, my remote and as well as local. Now git log. Git log. I want to see the history of the master branch. So now here you can observe here the head. Head is nothing but the current state, current cursor, where the cursor is located. Right now the cursor is located at this commit ID. Nothing but a sample.txt file is created. Right. So now these are all the previous changes, the history. Right. So now I cannot, right. So the sample.txt file change commit ID remembering is difficult for me. So I'm going to create a tag. I'm going to create an alias name for the commit ID. So now here I'm going to use the types of tagging is the two ways. One is light-weighted and second one is annotated. So now I'm going to use light-weighted tag mechanism to create the tag. Right. So now before creation, I would like to see if any tags are already created or exist. So now git tag is the command to see the existing tags information. Git tag or git tag -l list, anything is fine to list out the tags. As of now, I don't have any tags. Now I'm going to create a tag here. So now to create a tag, git tag and the tag name. So now I'm going to give the tag name is version 1.0. Now git tag. Now I can see version 1.0 is created. Okay, for whom? Right. So there are n number of commits are there here. So out of all the commits, which one it has been taken and on the which committee the tag is created. So always if you give something like git tag version number, always the git will take the latest commit ID only. It will take the latest commit ID only, and on the latest commit ID is going to apply the tag. So let me see git log. You can see here, this is the latest commit ID. Nothing but I can see here my ID is located here, nothing but the latest. I can see sample.txt file is created. Here we can find the tag information. Right. So now here, as the best practice, what we are going to do when the moment you have saved it, then for the change you are going to create the tag. Right. Or once the changes are done, once the history is created, then we can create the tag by simply by running the git tag number, so that it will pick the latest commit, the latest change always, and it's going to tag it to some version whatever you are providing. Then sometimes what will happen, we might forget to give the tagging, then simply are going to commit the changes one by one like that. So you forget to give the tagging for the changes. Right. So now if I give the git tag, always it will pick the latest, not the older ones. Still I want to write, but even though I want to give the tags for my older ones also, not like only the latest. Right. So when you want to refer the older commit IDs to apply the tags, yes, it can be possible. Right. So now here I'm going to give version 1.1 for the previous. To whom? To the commit ID, this one. But as I said, you don't require to copy the 40 characters because every commit ID is a unique one. So 5 to 6 are enough. So now here I am going to tell my tagging. So I want to apply this tag to the particular commit ID, not to the latest. If I don't mention, always it will be the latest. If you mention the commit ID, it is going to point to the particular commit ID. I can see two versions. Then if I see the logs, I can see version 1.1 for my second commit ID. Likewise, we can create the tags for the older versions also, not like always the latest. Now again, it is a simple lightweighted tag. Okay. So now the process. Sorry. Any question? Hello. Guys, any questions?
Nothing, Shankar. I just
Achha, okay, fine.
We add one more
Right. So now
tag, so it will be overrated to new older tag version, or it will take one more tag version.
okay. So we'll see with the use case. Right. So now here you want to give version 1.2 to the latest. Right. So now git log. So now we are going to see two tags. Right. So now here is not going to override with the version 1.0. Simply going to add one more tag, but to the same commit ID. Likewise, the tags are going to add. Suppose I am going to repeat it again. So now it's going to tell you the tag is already exist. Right. So likewise, you can add multiple versions, version names to the commit ID, same commit ID, by giving with different tag number 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay. Right. So now this tag is a lightweighted tag. Right. So simply git tag name. Okay. So now let's go to the process again. Right. So now the process is when you got the requirement. So what are the steps you are going to follow? Right. This is what now the complete process, the complete steps. Right. So let me take the notepad and try. Let me explain. Right. So now here, when you got the requirement, then the first step will be clone, pull or fetch the code into local, nothing but a workstation. Now the second step will be, right, once you got the code, then create new branch. And the third step will be do the changes as part of the requirement. Right. So now once you are good with the changes, then add the changes. Git add. And the fifth one will be save it. Save the changes. Nothing but git commit. All right. So then once you are done with the changes, now sixth step will be create the tag. Right. So every change, for every commit, we are going to, right. So now the tag is going to create. What are the commit you are performing? Create the tag. So then the seventh step will be push the branch and push the tag as well. Otherwise, what are the tags you are creating will be that only to the local only, not for everyone, until unless you push it. Right. So now here, however the branches are pushing, the same fashion we are going to push the tags also. Right. So then once you push the branch and tag, then we are going to create the pull request. Right. And assign the reviewer. Now there are the steps for the developer. Now here the 10th step. PR will be reviewed. If looks good. Right. So 11th, merge the PR. Right. Then the 12th, delete the branch. So now these are all the steps for reviewer. and these are the steps for the develop. So now this is the complete flow, complete steps for the once you got the requirement. These are the steps we are going to follow actually in our real-time practice. Right guys, so now we have covered the branches, right? So earlier we have seen only the 4 steps: pull, do the changes, push. Now see, branches are added, PR process is added, then the tagging is added here in the process, right? So now jump back, now go back to again our tagging, right? So now we have seen here creating a lightweighted tag, simple git tag name. Right, so now here when the moment I give the any tag name, so automatically it will pick the latest commit ID and it's going to assign the tag to the latest commit ID. Then when I want to give to the older commit ID, simply git tag name, then followed by the commit ID, so that you can particularly point to a specific commit ID, you can tag it that commit ID. Right. So now here, as I said, the tag is nothing but a simple, it's an alias for your commit ID. Now let's see whether the statement is correct or not. Right. So now here git log. Now here this commit ID belongs to readme changes, right? And that is tagged with the version 1.1. So now I want to confirm whether really the version 1.1 specifying it, mentioning this specific change or not, right? So how we are going to confirm? The first way. So when I want to see the changes of the particular commit ID, what kind of changes are done on the readme file, right? The git show is the command, git show and the commit ID. Right, so now here I can see, yes, the readme file is modified simply by adding a new line called cloned with SSH. Right, so more information, right, detailed information about the particular commit ID by giving the option called git show. Right, so who done the changes, the guy, at what time, at what date and time, and what is the message, and what exactly the changes are. Right, so now here, instead of referring the commit ID, simply I'm going to use my tags version 1.1. See, no difference, the same, whatever is displayed with the commit ID, the same is displayed with the git tagging also, right? So that's what the light. So now the tagging is alias name for the commit ID. So now going forward, you don't require to deal with the commit ID, simply you can refer with the tags, right? So now here the advantage of the versioning is, right, so easily can identify what are the changes are by seeing the tag and the tag description. Okay, right, so now you don't require to go to the commit IDs and blah blah blah, simply you can refer the tags. One is, and also the second one is, right, so you want to go back to the changes, something is failed with the latest changes, so simply and immediately I need to bring back the previous code and I want to deploy into the production environment, right? I want to step back, right, from the current version to the previous version, then apply the previous version into the production, right? Or sometimes, right, we are developing some kind of application changes, but nothing but adding few features, right, to the application. We are adding few features. So now here I have added 2 features, like now there are list of 5 to be added, 5 to be implemented. So out of 5 I have implemented 3 features at a time, then I have saved it. Then the next 2 features later on, like once these 3 are completed, then I start working on the next 2 features, then I completed, then I saved it. Then we got an update of, out of all the 5, whatever the new 2 features which you work with latestly, those are not required, right? So now here what I need to do, whatever the 5 features I have implemented, out of the 5, whatever the latest 2 are there, those has to be reverted it. I don't want those, so I want to revert back. So now here the 2 changes are very huge amount of code, like hundreds of lines I have added. So now we are deleting line by line, means is a time taken process. There is a chance of you are going to forget about the removing of some kind of code also, because in multiple places we are going to do the changes. Now you are not going to remember what exactly the places which you changed it. It is a difficult thing for us, right? So by that time, how easily I can revert my changes, how easily I can go back to my changes. So that's what the versioning again, right? So version 1 is going to tell you the 3 features, what are the 3 features I have added. Version 2 is going to tell you the latest 2 features which you have added. So those 2 are not required. Simply what I can do, I can pick the version 1, so that I will be having only the 3, not the 2. Simple. I don't need to go manually and delete one by one. Right. So that's why in such a way we can use the versions, nothing but to maintain the history effectively, efficiently, and the moment you want to go back, simply on play can go back. Right. So now moving back to the history. Right. So now the current is something, and I want to go back to my previous state. Right. So when I want to go back to the previous state, we can use in multiple ways. One is we can use the commit IDs, so that with the help of the commit ID you can go back to the previous state, or we can use the tags. With the help of the tags we can move back, we can go back. Okay, let's see how we can go back to the previous state. Okay, with the help of the commits, with the help of the tagging. Right. So now for the better understanding, so what I will do, I will create a repository, or else I will take the Git repo. So now go to the Git repo, Git branch. I am on the release branch. So now here git log. So now on the git log, as of now, release file is created, develop file is created, 2 files are there, something like that. So now let me go here. So there is a release file is exist. So now let me try to open the release file. Cat, read the file. It is an empty file. No content is present inside the release file. So now let me add some changes to the release file. Then we'll go back to the history, like moving the state. Right. So now here I will open the release.txt file. This is the first line in release file. Save it. Git status. We can see the common process, right? Git add, git commit -m, first line. Git status. Release branch, working tree is clean. Git log. So now you can observe here the latest commit is nothing but the first line. Now you want to see the information, right? So git show what kind of changes are performed here. This line is added. Right, now I want to give the tagging. So git tag version 1.0. I have a tag. A tag is added to the latest commit. Git show version 1.0. We can see the same changes. Nothing but simply giving a alias name to the commit ID. So now I'm going to do again some more changes to the same file. Release.txt. This is the second line. Some other changes. So git commit -am shortcut, second line. Now git status, I can see working tree is clean. Now git log. Right, so earlier first line, now the second line is added. Right, first line, this is the commit ID, and for the second line, this is the commit ID. Let's see here whether really the changes are reflecting or not. Git show, I can see a new line. Or what we can do, we can compare also, right? So git difference, I'm going to compare the latest commit ID against the previous. Well, you can see here, this is not present in the my previous second line, right? In the previous statement, one line is there, the second one is not there. The second one is added in the latest commit ID, and the previous commit ID only we are going to have this one. That is the reason you can see removal minus. This is not exist in the previous commit ID. Previous commit ID. Okay, right. So now here I have created a log. I have generated history, nothing but for the two changes, nothing but adding a 2 lines in a file. For each line, I have generated a commit ID. So now ls cat releases. Now I can see there are 2 lines. Now whatever the second line is added, that is a messed up. The code is messed up due to the reason your application is failing. Something is went wrong with the file. Now immediately what I need to do, I need to bring back my stable code, nothing but the previous line, previous changes, then apply it. Or right, once the sprint is started, then based on the requirement you have created everything, then later on your keyboard asks you to don't need these changes right now, please revert it back, please revert it. Right. So now here instead of manual removal, it is a time taken for, there is a chance of we are going to miss a few things to remove. Right. So now here the best approach always will be go to the previous state, previous version, so that with safer and easiest way we can switch back to the previous. You can switch back to the older versions. Right. So now here git log. So here version 1.0 is there for version previous, and for the latest I am going to give one more version. So git tag version 1.1. So now git log. I can see here version 1.1 is for the latest and version 1.0 for the previous. 2 commits are there. For the 2 commits, I have given the alias names, nothing but the tags. Right. So now here, let me see whether the right, just for confirmation, git show version 1.1. It should show me the new line. Second line is added. Fine. Right. So now here, now the situation is the latest is failed out. So you have to go back to the previous. Then you need to work with the previous state and you need to deploy the previous one to the production. So now to go back to the particular state, particular version of the file, then the command will be take the version first. 2 ways I am going to tell you guys. One is the commit IDs and second one is the tags. So now here, which one you want to go back? Right, this is the latest. It is failed. Now immediately I need to go back to the previous one, which is successfully running, nothing but the first line. So what I will do, I will take the commit ID for the particular commit, particular change. Then here, git checkout, simply check out to the commit ID and give the commit ID. So now what will happen? Your cursor will move to the particular version. Right. So now this state we are going to call, the git is going to call as a detached state. Right. So now here the detached is nothing but your head is moved to previous version, not to the latest. Right. So now here always your head should be point to the latest one, not the previous. Otherwise there are issues you are going to see with the changes. So now here that is the reason what the git is going to suggest you. Okay, fine. You move to the previous version. Don't work on like that. Simply create a branch. Create a branch, a new branch, create it. Then start working on the branch, whatever you want to do, so that we are not going to block by some other regions. We means here, see here, whatever the GitHub is using there, those files are going to escalate. So people are like DevOps people are not doing properly. That is the reason I am not going to connect it or something. Right. So now I have a log. On the log, I have latest commit ID and previous commit ID. Now the latest commit ID is messed up. So now due to the reason, I need to go back to the previous state. Right. So that is the reason we have given the command checkout. So with the help of the checkout, I switch it to the previous version, previous commit ID. So now the head is moved to the previous state. So that moment we are going to call as a detached state. So now here the detached state should not be maintained likewise, right? So then immediately what we need to do here is create a branch for the previous commit, right? So now I'm going to create a branch here. Git switch -c, and my branch name I'm going to use here some name so that I can easily remember, right? So this is the version I moved to, right? I checked out to the previous commit ID. So -br, some name like which easily understandable by me. Enter. So now git branch. Now you release the head. You are not holding the head. You release the head by creating the branch. So now it will point to the latest. So now here I have created a new branch. Now start working on the branch and deploy it, so that you are not going to have the latest change on here. Let's confirm it. ls cat release.txt file. You can see only the one line, not the two lines, right? The second one line is the one which is messed up, right? I want to revert it back. So simply what I did, I moved to my previous version, right? So now I will deploy this code. So what are the branch right now I'm having? Nothing but the previous version. I will go and deploy it, right? So now git log first line. The second line one is not there, right? So now here, right? So now here the version 1.0. Now this is the way, with the help of the commit IDs, we can go back to the previous state, previous generation, previous history. Then you can work on that previous one. Now the second way, instead of referring the commit IDs, the same process can be done with the help of tags, right? So now here again the same practice I'm going to do. So now instead of commit IDs, I'm going to refer the tags. Now git checkout version 1.0. Right. So the same again. The head will be detached state. Again, we need to create a branch. So git switch hyphen c. My new branch is version 1.0 branch. Some name. Git branch. Right. A new branch is created. So ls cat release.txt. Only the first line. Right. So likewise, we can use the tags or we can use the commit IDs to go back to any particular commit or any particular version. Right. So then you can start working on the branch. We can start working on the branches. Right. So basically, where we are going to use this kind of scenarios, right? So now here, as I said, the latest is messed up. Then whatever the latest code is deployed on the environment, it is not working fine. So now what we need to do here is we need to deploy the previous code. So now we are going to point to the Jenkins by giving the tag or by giving the commit ID in the branch in the Jenkins job, so that the code will be checked out from the particular branch and it will be built and it will be deployed. We'll see in our Jenkins. Just remind me so that I will show you how to give the commit IDs tags. Okay, right. So this is the way, guys. If you want to go back to the previous history, then you can work. You want to work with, simply we can use the checkout command and go to the particular state and start working on that state by creating a new branch with the help of git switch icon c. Okay, either you can use the tags or you can use the versions, nothing but the commit IDs. Anything is fine. So tags are alias of the versions, commit IDs, that's it. Right. So now here, as of now, we have seen the lightweighted tags, creating a lightweight tags and using lightweight tags to move the history, like to go back or to go forward like that. Now I'm going to show you how to create the other tag called annotated tags. Right. So the difference between the lightweighted and annotated tag is very simple, with a small difference. Right. For the annotated tags, you can give some message for the tag, like what exactly this tag is. So for the lightweight tag, we are not going to give any kind of messages. Simply, we are going to give a version number like 1.0, 1.2, 1.4, or 2.0 like that. So now, if I want to see what exactly the version 2.0, so there I need to run the command git show and version 2.0 so that I can see the changes. So right, instead of going to run the command show and see the changes, simply I can give some message while creating the tag. I can give some message like this tag is so and so. So that by seeing the message, I can understand, oh, this change and this tag nothing but the so and so changes. So that's what the annotated tags, giving a message to the tags, passing a message to the tags. Okay, right. So now here, git log. Right here, I can see some tag is like some commentary is there. It is tagged with the version 1.0. Right. So I'm going to use this one. So git tag -a version 1.1 -m message. What is the message here? A release file added, something, some message. To whom? To the commit ID. Okay, version 1.1 already exists, so I'm going to give version 1.0.0 something. Right. So now here for the annotated tag, we need to use the option -a and some version number, then -m, so that you can give some message to the tags. So git tag, I can see all the tags which are created right now, and git log (1.0.0). I can see here git show version 1.0.0. A release file created, and here what is the message I have passed it? Release file added. So somewhere we are going to see that information also. Git, yes, here tag version 1.0.0. When I give the show, now here I can see that tag information, and this is the commit information, those changes, and this is the our tag information. Right. So now if I use git show version 1.0, it's a normal lightweight tag. Right. We are not going to see any messages, any message like this for the tag. We are going to see the commit things only, commit messages. Then we can have an extra option to add a message to the tags with the help of annotated -a and -m. Right. So likewise, we can create the tags by using the lightweight tags or the annotated. So now whatever the operations, what are the commands we have run so far, everything is on the local. Now I want to push my tags to the GitHub. Okay, right. So when you want to push the tags to the GitHub, right, what we need to do here is, so right, let me, like, this Git repo is not, it to local only. It is not exist on my remote. So let me go back to one of the remote repository, Ansible one, cd Ansible repository. Now git branch. I am in the master. Git pull to make sure both are in sync. Yes, my remote and local is sync. So now here I'm going to perform some changes. Vi sample.txt. Then here some changes. Save. Now git status. Right, the same process again. Git add, git commit -m, some message sample file. Git status working tree is clean. Git log, we can see sample file. I can see sample file. This is the commit ID. So now here git tag version 1. Some number 0. So already version 1.0 is already created here. So now I'm going to give some name, git tag version 2.0. Now git tag, I can see local tags. Now git log, we can observe for the latest commit ID, a tag 2.0 is attached. So now in the local, I have the latest commit ID and I have the one tag for the commit ID. Now I want to push the tag to the GitHub so that people can use the tags to see the differences, to see the changes, or to check out the code, whatever they want to do it. Right. So now git push origin, right, or else git push. If I run the git push, by default, master branch is going to connect to the master branch of remote, and whatever the changes I have done on the local, it will be pushed to the GitHub. Right. So here the latest change is nothing but we have added a line to the sample.txt file. Right. So now if I go to my Ansible repository, then see the changes. The changes are going to reflect. Ansible repository. Now in the master, now here I can see sample.txt file. If I open the file, I can see a new file, a line I can see here. The changes are pushed out. So now here I want to push the tags also. Right. So what are the changes you push? For the change, I have created a tag. That tag also I want to push it so that people can use the tags. Right. So now here you can see there is a tags option. As of now, it is showing as 0. No tags are pushed to GitHub. So now I'm going to push my tag 2.0 to the GitHub. So now git push origin version 2.0. That's it. So right. So how we are going to push the branches to the GitHub? In the same way, we are going to push the tags also. If you want to push the new branch, what we are going to do? Git push origin the new branch name, so that the new branch will be pushed to the GitHub. In the same fashion, when you want to push a tag from the local to GitHub, git push origin followed by the tag name. Instead of branch name, we are going to give the tag name. That's it. Enter. Now we can see version 2.0, a new tag is pushed to GitHub. So now here, as of now, we can see here the tags are 0. Now I'm going to refresh. Now we can see here a 1, a count is increased from 0 to 1. If I click on the tag, I can see the tag information, version 2.0. Right, you can download the code into the zip format. So what are the code is there for that particular history, particular tag? You can download into local in the zip format, or you can download into the gun zip format for the Linux. Right, now if I click on the tag, it is going to show you, right, what is the file, what is the change for the file, and the code into the different formats. Right, so now here, if you want to modify the tag, you can modify the tag by clicking the edit tag. Right, you can modify it by editing it, or if you want to delete it, you can delete the tag also by clicking the delete. Right, so now here likewise you can create the tags, then you can push the tags to your GitHub from the local by using git push origin version, that version particular. Now I want to delete the tags from the local. Instead of going to the GitHub and go to the tags and click on the delete, I want to delete from a local. Right, in how the branches are going to delete from the local, in the same way the tags are going to delete, the same command, no difference. Right, when I want to delete it, git push origin, here we are going to provide the colon. That's it. So delete colon, without colon push. So enter. A tag is deleted. Now go here and refresh. We are not going to see the tag anymore. See, version 2.0 is not available for not for error, not found. So let me go to the repo back. Now here you can see tags become 0. Right. So likewise, either we can delete from the tag from the GA side, or by using the CLI, we can delete the tags as well. Right. So likewise, there are a shortcut, nothing but right. So sometimes you might forget give the tag names. Right. So now there we are going to create the versions later. Suppose here git branch. I'm in the master. Git log. So here I can see these comments are not having any tags. Now I want to give the tags to this commit IDs. So now git tag version 3.0 for this guy. Git tag version 3.1 for this guy. And git tag now here I have created 3 tags with the 3 series 3.0, 3.1, 3.2 git log for this commit IDs 3.2, 3.1, 3.0. Now these 3 tags are not present on the GitHub side. So I want to push these tags to my GitHub. So now here pushing the tags git push origin, right? Then the tag names version 1.0 space version 1.1 space version 1.2 like that. If there are huge amount of tags, then giving this tags is a time taken process. So what we can do here is simply I can use -- tags option, so that whatever the tags are created in the local, all the tags are going to push it into the GitHub. Right. So now as of now I have these 3 tags. Earlier I have created many tags. So all the tags are pushed to the GitHub. So as of now 0 here. Now if I refresh, I can see the total number of tags, 7 tags. Like this. Like this, in a single shot, we can push all the tags from the local to our GitHub by using the option called -tags. Or else we can use the specific tag number, origin, version 1.0, version 1.2, like that. Right. So here I want to delete the tags. Right. I have created the tags. The tags are 2 types. One is lightweighted and the second one is annotated tags. Right. So then pushing the tags into the GitHub by one or all at a time. Right. Now I want to delete the tags which are not required. So what I'm going to do here is git tag. Many are there. Now git tag -d is the option to delete a tag. So version 1.0. Right. So now here there are the tags list. Now from the tags list, I have deleted the version 1.0. So now git tag. You can see 1.0 is gone. Right. So in that fashion, you can delete the tags. Now here, sometimes it is not going to allow you to delete the tags. By that time, forceful deletion, nothing but capital D instead of smaller d, we are going to use the capital D to delete the tags forcefully. Right. So now here we require to delete the tags all together in a single shot. Otherwise, unnecessarily it is occupying the space and maintenance is difficult for us, even though the employees are not working on our project. Right. So now here the option is go the person individually and work with that. Right. So now here all the tags I want to delete it. So now to delete all the tags, we have a shortcuts. Nothing but the commands. Again, the Linux commands. Git tag -d is going to delete the tag one by one by giving the tag number. So now here I am going to use two commands. One is first I am going to list out all the tags. Then I am going to use the -d command to delete the tag. Right. So now this is the command to delete the tags locally all together in a single shot. Right. So now these are the tags in my local. So now git tag -d to delete the tag and git tag -l is the command to list out the tags. The commands are listed out and this command is deleted. Git tag, no more tags. All the tags are deleted from locally. Right. So now if you want to see the remote tags, so what are the tags are there on the remote side? ls-remote -tags. On the GitHub side, for this repository, what are the tags are present? These main tags. ls- like git branch -r to see the remote branches information. Now to delete a remote tag from the local, git push origin : the tag name, like same our branch deletion. Right. So now here there is no straight command to delete the tags. So it's a combination of our Linux again to delete the remote tags in a single shot. Now all the tags are got deleted. So this is the command, right? Nothing but if I give this command, we are going to get this output. Now from the output, I'm going to cut the column. Now this is the first column and this is the second column. I'm going to extract the second column by using this command. Now git exargs I'm going to use so that git push origin -delete is the option to delete these tags. So all the tags can be deleted with the help of this git push origin -delete. But the problem here is if I give the git tags, I'm going to get the even the complete comparison also. So extract the comparison from the tags, then give the tags to the delete command. That's what here the command will be. Okay, right. So likewise, we can handle the tags on the local as well as the remote side also by using these commands. Right, guys. So these are the things for today. Okay. So tomorrow we are going to cover it. All are important concepts only, important topics only. There is nothing like we can skip this topic. Right. So we are going to see how to undo. Right. So how to undo the changes. Those things we are going to see. That is also very, very important for our real time and as well as the interview cycle for the interview also. Undo the changes. Right. After committed it. Then followed we will see the other options of the Git. Okay. Okay. So any doubts for today? Okay. So if you are yeah, please. If you are good, if no doubts, then please practice it. So tomorrow, most probably, we can wind up the Git. So there are few concepts are there, like the undo the changes, rebase, and GitHub Enterprise, like maintenance and user management. Like again, we'll see. Maybe if we can close tomorrow, we can close it. Otherwise, one more class, not the complete class. At least 2 hours required for us in the next week. Okay. Right, guys. So if you are good, we can wind up or if you guys are having doubts, please let me know. I will repeat it again.
That's fine, Shankar. Please share this recording. So if any doubts, we'll post it in WhatsApp group.
Sure.
Whether it
Thanks
is
to that.
conceptual as any command related issues. Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to
The
that.
same
Thanks for
email
that.
ID is
Yeah.
just forwarded.
Okay. Then,
Yeah.
sure. I will send out the recording to the same email. Okay. Okay, guys. You can see you tomorrow at the same time.
Thank you.
Shankar.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Shankar, Chris.
Hello. Yeah, Chris. Yeah. Hi, Chris.
So I understand you may want to go and have some lunch now, but what's the best time for me to give you a call and have a chat for like 10 minutes or so?
Yeah. So right now the time is I think it's 2 o'clock, right? So can we have a discussion at 2:30, Chris?
2:30.
Like after half an hour, after 30 minutes.
Um,
Or if it is late for you, like your early morning, also it's fine for me.
It's 6 o'clock for me. I just want to go have a shower and have some dinner. Will that be okay? Will that be so? Tomorrow, what time do you wake up, and what's the best time for me to give you a call? So, So tomorrow it's 10 o'clock again, the class.
Yeah. The class will be the same timings at 10 o'clock. So we can have a discussion before the class at 9:30 or something. Is it fine?
Okay. What I'll do is I'll give you a call around 9:45 your time, and have a chat then, and we can continue with the class.
Sure, Chris. Yeah, definitely.
Okay then. Thank you very much. Thanks for the class.
Yeah.
Good session.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Bye bye. Rajesh.
Hi, Shankar. Hi.
Yeah, Rajesh. Rajesh, actually నాకు ఈ వీక్ అంతా నేను ఇట్లా హైదరాబాద్ నుంచి వైజాగ్ షిఫ్ట్ అయిపోయాను, అంటే మీన్స్ ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేసాం. సో దాని వల్ల క్లాస్ నేను ప్లాన్ చేయలేకపోయా యాక్చువల్గా. సో ఫర్ షూర్ ఈ వీక్ లో మనం డెఫినెట్ గా నేను మీకు లైనెక్స్ కవర్ చేసేద్దాం. ఓకే. సో మేబీ ఫ్రమ్ మండే అన్వర్డ్స్, మండే అట్లీస్ట్ ఒక డైలీ ఒక 45 minutes to 1 hour తీసుకుంటే at the end of the week, like Friday వరకు మనం లైనెక్స్ ని కవర్ చేయొచ్చు కమాండ్స్, సో దట్ మొత్తం మీరు బ్యాచ్ తో కోపప్ అయిపోతారు. సో దెన్ గిట్ అయిన తర్వాత విల్ సీ ద షెల్స్ నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకా వాళ్ళతో మనం మింగిల్ అయిపోవచ్చు. సో మీకు ఫైన్ కదా?
Yeah, fine, Shankar. So only Unix is covered, right? Before this class.
Before class?
Before Git.
Before Git?
Yeah,
only the Linux. Yes, exactly. Only the Linux. No.
Okay.
No. Only one tool is covered. So that is the Linux stuff only. So that tool will take max for us. Like if I take 1 hour, max 4 to 5 hours. So like next week మనకు దాన్ని ప్లాన్ చేసి దాన్ని క్లోజ్ చేద్దాం. సో తర్వాత ఇంకా మిగతా టాపిక్స్ ఇంకా యాజ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ మనం వెళ్తాం, మీరు కంటిన్యూ అయిపోవచ్చు మనం వెళ్తాం. మీకైతే ఇప్పుడు ప్రజెంట్ ఇదైతే మీకు సెషన్ అర్థమవుతుంది కదా? సో మనకి ఇందులో లైనక్స్ తో పెద్ద ఇంటరాక్షన్ ఏం లేదు కాబట్టి, సో ఐ డోంట్ థింక్ ఎనీ ఇష్యూస్ విత్ దిస్ సెషన్.
Shankar, I'm actually following it. Yeah.
You are following it, right? Yeah. Thanks, Rajesh. Yeah. Okay then.
Thank you.
Okay, Rajesh. Then yeah. So we'll meet as it is tomorrow. Then from Monday onwards, I will plan for the Linux. Okay, na?
Okay, Shankar. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Rajesh. Thank you, guys. Again. Thank you. Bye bye.